I don't ask, I just do.
What do you know that I don't?
The April 16th, 2025 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded and can be viewed live on City of Las Vegas TV on Cox Cable Channel 2. You could also watch the meeting live online and access other city content by visiting lasvegasnevada.gov/connect. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on the City of Las Vegas TV the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of the chamber, out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace and down the back staircase. For anyone that has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Street. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it is safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to the items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you can complete and submit to the city clerk. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of our chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizens participation, or specified public hearing items. If there is anyone present today that has a need for hearing impaired equipment, please see the city staff clerk. Please note, if you are parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter these chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine. If you do not have your ticket, see security personnel when exiting for a validation card. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given by Pastor Drew Moore, Canyon Ridge Christian Church, and please remain standing as he does the pledge as well. Hello, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Let's pray. And so, God, we pause as we arrive to acknowledge you. On this week of Easter, the kind of the center of celebration of our faith, God, I pray that our city would be awakened again and again to who you are. God, thank you for this great city in which we live. What a joy to be in this place, to be a proud place for our family and friends to visit. God, I'm grateful for our mayor, for our city council, for the many people who are serving here today, for the first responders in the room, for the many who have come into this room before us and after us to take great care of it and provide it for us. God, we're just marked with gratitude that we get to be a part of what you're doing in this city. I pray for your favor and for your wisdom for each of those who will make decisions today. Pray for clarity of thought and communication for each of the folks who will speak, that they might represent themselves well and the best decisions might be reached for the flourishing of our city. God, we'll offer our very best, but ultimately it is you we trust and it is you who paves the way. And so we acknowledge you and we're grateful, especially for Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Will you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, ma'am. I pledge
Allegiance to the
Before we proceed with the ceremonials, I'd like to acknowledge the life of someone that left us yesterday far too early, Miss Elaine Wynn. She has made an extraordinary contribution over her life to this community, to education, to culture, to the arts, and through this moment of silence, I would like us all to commemorate her life and her legacy. And may she rest in peace. We'll now move to the recognition of the Employee of the Month. This is the ceremonial portion of our council agenda, and for our first item, I want to invite our emergency manager, Carolyn Levering, to join us. Our employees strive to make our values of being kind, committed, and smart, and they work to build our community to make life better. I am proud to announce that the Employee of the Month is Irene Cedillo. Irene, please join us. Congratulations. Irene is a volunteer program coordinator as well as a facility and event coordinator. She joined the city in 2023. Among her many duties is managing the city's Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT program. Irene developed processes and procedures for the recruitment, development, and management of volunteers who are a part of this key safety program. We know that in the event of a major emergency, our first responders will be stressed to their limits. CERT allows us to have a deployable professional team of volunteers ready to support our first responders and ensure that our citizens and visitors get help as quickly as possible. Over the past year, Irene has scheduled and staffed dozens of events, trainings, presentations, and much more, all with the goal of improving preparedness for our community. CERT is a federally funded program, and Irene manages the team for all of Clark County. Through Irene's leadership, we have built strong partnerships with many organizations across the valley. We all know in the event of a major emergency, connections and an ability to work together are key. We are in very good hands with Irene as part of our coordinated effort. Irene, thank you for all of your hard work to make our city a safer place to live. I want to give Carolyn a chance to say a few words, and then we'll have a photo. Carolyn? There you go.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. The Office of Emergency Management consists of a small but mighty team of professionals dedicated to building a disaster-resilient community. Irene joined our team just over 2 years ago, filling a newly created position tasked with building a volunteer management program from scratch. Irene met the challenge head-on and has exceeded expectations in every way. The Community Emergency Response Team 3V refers to our vital, vocal volunteers. Because the CERT 3V program is federally funded, it serves a community beyond the city borders, including participants from all over Clark County. These volunteers are a force multiplier for our small office, helping to teach basic emergency preparedness and committing themselves to responding during a disaster. While Irene is remarkably humble about her accomplishments, I think it's fair to say it takes a special leader to recruit and retain the talented volunteers who donate hours upon hours of their time in service to our community. Congratulations, Irene.
Now, I've been told that public speaking isn't the first thing you love in life, but would you like to say a few words? Well, here, say it in the microphone.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, congratulations.
Shake your hands and then I'll hand you this.
Yeah, shake hands, shake hands. Everyone wants to shake your hands. Right, come back.
Here, you hold this right in the middle.
Oh, perfect.
Carolyn, get up here.
Oh, yes.
Right up front.
Welcome to our world.
All right.
Everybody, please join me in congratulating Irene. Recognition of the Anti-Violence Through Community Engagement ACE program. For our final ceremonial item today, Councilwoman Frances Allen Polensky is going to recognize a program providing wraparound services to families in need. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today, it's my honor to put the spotlight on a few individuals who have dedicated themselves to serving their community and are currently making positive strides by cultivating a better future for at-risk teens in Las Vegas. I'd like to ask the ACE team to join me up here at the podium. Come on, guys and gals.
It's okay, we're going to be in the front and we're taking a picture in a minute. Hello, and thank you. Hi, how are you? Thank you, always, always.
Okay, the LVMPD's Anti-Violence Through Community Engagement Team, or ACE for ACE, is a pilot program recently created to provide wraparound services to local youth who have been experiencing legal challenges or those at-risk youth that are at risk of becoming involved in the criminal justice system. By providing guidance and critical resources, these kids and their families, the ACE program team creates those pathways to success and hope for a brighter future. LVMPD recognizes that when law enforcement builds relationships with local community leaders, businesses, quality of life for all of us is improved. One such instance took place this February when this team joined forces with Walker Furniture and provided furniture and beds to families that were in need. The ACE team currently supports are supported by 40 community partners and board members, and over 240 youth in our community are in the pipeline who need supportive services. While this program is currently geographically limited, there is hope and plans to expand it to secure funding and up to and including micro grants to increase the impact of this team. Thus, the importance of highlighting their organization. Without the heartfelt passion and tireless effort from Captain Dave Sims, Captain Noe Esparza, Sergeant Tony Brotherson, Officer Selena Cruz, Officer Arnold Parker, Officer Anthony Edwards, and Community Engagement Director Rachel Skidmore, and Crime Prevention Specialist Kelly Garnis, this program would not exist. Captain Sims, would you share a few words about the program and have our audience give them more of an education? Since this is brand new, we're rolling it out right here in the City Hall.
No, thank you so much. Again, my name is Dave Sims. I'm the captain of the Community Engagement Bureau. And I commonly say that the secret of leadership is you surround yourself with people smarter than you. And luckily, I have this amazing and dynamic team here. And it all started with an idea that traditional policing were very good at responding to a critical incident and finding the bad guy. But would it be possible that the incident never happened because we intervened before the worst day of that youth's life happened? And when you challenge a team like this with a question like that, and they just really impressed me and this agency and our partners with the innovation that they came up with. So to have a remarkable recidivism rate for a whole-of-community approach. This is not just a police program. It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for a team like this, but those 40 community partners that activate down to that granular level with this city's youth. We are blessed as a police department, especially when you look around this country, the support that we have from our elected officials. So again, Councilwoman, thank you for the opportunity and the honor. And all of our community partners up here have always been very, very supportive. When you activate an entire community, you can change the lives of our next generation, and that generation needs to be protected. It needs to be provided with opportunity and encouragement and positive influencers. So in order for our entire community to activate, I know that we are saving lives before the worst day of their life. So we're going to keep the foot on the gas. You have my word. I can't keep up with this team. I'm a figurehead that gets to come up and talk at moments like this, but I'm so proud of this entire team. I'm so proud of our community leaders, our partners to make this happen, and our elected officials. So I think we're going to create something that hasn't existed and is going to create miracles. So thank you all for everything.
Captain Sims, we do have a proclamation for you, and I'm going to just sum it up at the very end here. It's long, and you can read it at home. But we, the mayor, and the members of the Las Vegas City Council hereby proclaim April 16th, 2025 as ACE Team Day. It's your day. We're going to come up front and take a picture with everyone. If there's any family or friends, please come up and join too. Oh, yes. Mayor, step up front for a picture.
Councilwoman, yeah, there's some room on the left over there.
Oh. Thank you. We're done, right? So, thank you so much. What are we doing with this? Okay. Let me put this, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We'll be waiting until 9:30.
We will reconvene the city council meeting at 9:30. Recon- Yeah, my goodness. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue. We'll set the time at 2 minutes. Is there anybody that wishes to participate in public comment?
Yes, dear Mayor, I am here.
All right, welcome.
Okay. My name is Eric. Oh, hello, fantastic council
Hello.
and lovely mayor. My name is Eric Melchizedek Christ Nimrod. You can find me in Genesis, the 10th chapter. You can find King Nimrod in Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th to the 10th verse. He's being slandered by Bible scholars and preachers. Boom. Okay. Agenda number 46 is a proposed 2,849 square foot alcohol establishment. Agenda number 47 is a request for a non-conforming liquor establishment in Ward 5. These are in Ward 5. At the April 2nd meeting, Agenda 39, it was said that of the 232 expelled students, the majority was so-called black. Ward 5 is in a crisis, and more liquor establishments may add more fuel to the fire of institutional and religious racism. Low self-esteem and self-hate drive people to drink, especially youth. Councilwoman Summers, Armstrong, I want the quantitative data about student expulsions and staff training that you asked for last time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the city council? Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is
morning.
Cynthia Thompson. I am at 601 Harrison Avenue. I am speaking on item 240647, SDR1. This is the second time visiting this. There was something that went wrong with the parcel. It was one parcel, supposed to be two parcels. So we're back again. And I wrote, I'm writing a formal expression of my opposition to the proposed fourplex development plan for the northwest corner of Van Buren and F Street behind my property at 601 Harrison Avenue. While I understand the need for responsible development, I have significant concerns about the impact this project will have on our neighborhood. First and foremost, the introduction of a multiplex residential building in the area raises serious concerns regarding property value and neighborhood character. Our community primarily consists of single-family homes, and adding a fourplex could dramatically change the density and aesthetic appeal of our neighborhood. Additionally, I consider the increase in traffic and parking congestion. The addition of multiple units, each with multiple residents and vehicles, would exacerbate existing traffic flow issues and increase safety concerns for pedestrians, especially children and elderly residents, such as myself. However, the privacy and quality of life to adjacent homeowners will be significantly impacted. A multi-story building will result in a loss of privacy for my property and others nearby.
Thank you so much. Can you wrap up?
Yes, I will. In addition to the noise and lighting and multiple families, disruption of our quiet environment, I urge the Planning Committee to consider this proposal. And
Thank
look
you
for-
so much. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak with the city council?
Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
Thank you
May I
very
sit down?
much.
Good morning. My name is Maurice Page. I'm the Executive Director for the Nevada Housing Coalition. Today I would like to talk about or put a letter of support in for action item number 45, 240647 SDR1, Okos Development Corporation. We have been working with the owners of this business for the last couple of years. They have gone through site modification to appease not only the neighborhood, but also the city of Las Vegas. And so we would like to encourage you to move forward with this project, as this will bring value to the neighborhood and hopefully meet the demands of what the community brings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to address the city council? Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Tashika Lawson. I am here to speak on item number 45 in support of Oikos Development Corporation. I can speak that the last 2 years, Oikos has done its utmost to learn about the emerging projects and products when it comes to housing that are available. They've toured toured Elysian properties. They've toured things like the Mercer, which are resort-style housing projects that are in Summerlin and all throughout the valley. They're trying to bring that type of quality to the affordable housing market in the historic West Side in accordance with the 1909 form-based code. They have done everything that they need to do when it comes to community engagement. Almost every other person who we've seen trying to bring forth developments in this area usually falls short in one aspect, in either community engagement, over developing a property, or just having things that are not having enough information, or just not having the community support. I do understand that we do have residents who are currently around this project, but we do have projects such as this that are already available and out for people to see in places like Flagstaff that have the same street addresses and the same transitions happening. I highly support this project. I know that they have done their utmost to make sure that they're bringing the community's voice to this project, and they've done more than any other person and when it comes to doing this. And then lastly, they have been here a little longer simply because of the fact that under the last administration there was some balls that were dropped, so the investments that they could have done kind of they've been here spending money just trying to they were invited into our state. They have awesome projects that are available up north for both senior housing and multifamily housing, so I really support this project.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that would like to address the city council? In that case, we will move on to agenda item 8. For possible action, any items from the 9:30 a.m. session that the council, staff, and/or the applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem?
Madam Mayor, I have 3 items, 40A through 40E, 24-0190, GPA1, ZON1, VAR1, VAR2, and STR1. Applicant is William Brown, owner is H&H Investment Realty on 1.18 acres on the southwest corner of Owens and Gateway. There's an abeyance request to the June 18th, 2025 meeting requested by Mr. Edgar D. Montalvo. 41A through 41B, 24-0508 VAR1, ZON1. Applicant is Champion Resource Group. Owner is DFA LLC on 0.32 acres located at Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Located on the west of Harvey Munford Street, approximately 725 feet south of Washington Avenue. There's an abeyance request to the June 18th, 2025 meeting requested by Councilwoman Summers Armstrong. And item 4224-0510, Zoan 1, applicant is Champion Resource Group LLC, owner DFA LLC on 2.68 acres generally located at the southwest corner of Washington Avenue and Harvey Munford Street. There's an abeyance request to the June 18th, 2025 meeting requested by Councilwoman Summers Armstrong, and that will be my motion.
All right. Shall we vote on the motion? Please post. Motion is carried. Agenda item number 9, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the March 19th, 2025 regular city council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes.
Please vote. Post. Motion is passed. Agenda item number 10. Agenda items 10 through 27 are on the consent agenda, are considered to be routine, are recommended for approval by the departments, and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any other items the council wishes to bring forward? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for the consent agenda for items 10 through 27?
Move to approve the consent agenda, items 10 through 27.
Please vote. Post. Motion passes. And now I would like to bring something out of order. Sorry, guys. Agenda item 48, under reports and presentations. I understand we have a time constraint, and that's why we're moving this one forward. Reports and presentations, again, agenda item number 48.
Mayor, I don't think they're here yet. I told them about 10.
Oh, okay. We're going back to regular order because they're not here. All right. Agenda item 28, discussion for possible action regarding the approval of the employment contract with Brian Smith and ratification as city auditor, $172,500 plus benefits from the general fund. Mr. Zamora, would you care to comment?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. For the record, Vince Zamora, Human Resources Director. I'm very pleased to bring this item forward. As the Mayor stated, this is regarding the approval of the employment contract with Brian Smith and his ratification as City Auditor. Mr. Smith has been our acting City Auditor since January of 2024. And by way of background, Mr. Smith started his employment with the city on March 1st of 1999 as an internal auditor. He was then promoted to a senior internal auditor and then promoted to the internal audit section manager before being approved as the acting city auditor. Mr. Smith has a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting and a master's degree in accounting from Brigham Young University, and he is a licensed certified public accountant in the states of Nevada and Washington. And at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Do any council members have any questions or comments for Mr. Zamora? In that case, Councilwoman Diaz, would you care to make the motion?
All right. Absolutely. I want to thank Mr. Smith for all of his service serving as an interim city auditor, and I believe the entire council and the mayor are behind his ratification today to continue in this role. And with that, I move to approve agenda item 28.
Thank you. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Oh, shoot. Oh, would you care to say a few words? And congratulations.
I would love to. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Berkeley. Thank you, City Council members. I'm humbled and honored today to accept this appointment. And I am so grateful for the career that I've had here at the City of Las Vegas. It's amazing reflecting back on 26 years and the many opportunities that this career has afforded me. So I have great, just so thankful for all the city has provided for me. I want to just acknowledge my office staff over here, the city auditor's office. We're a small group. There's Bonnie, Joe, James, Louie, and Nancy, and we're continually looking for ways to be more effective as an office to improve the city's operations. I'd also like to acknowledge the great city leadership team that we have from the city manager's office, city attorney's office, and all the department directors that I have had the opportunity to work with over the years. I'm always amazed as I attend briefings and work with all these individuals, just the amazing talent that we have here at the city, and the city is in good hands with its leadership team. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge my wife. My wife, Melanie, she is an amazing woman, and she is actually a school teacher and teacher's coach, and she works up at Somerset Academy up in Ward 6, and just an amazing woman, and I appreciate all the support that she's been to me over the years. Sometimes she has to remind me to take off my audit hat when I come home, because I have a tendency to ask too many questions. But grateful for her support. Thanks to everybody else who showed up today to show their support. And once again, thank you to Mayor Berkeley and Council, and I look forward to working with all of you to further improve the city's operations.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 29, this item is being trailed to be heard with agenda item 43. Agenda item 30, boards and commissions. Discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of nominee Todd Van Bastians to Ward 1 seat on the Arts Commission. Suzette Hackett Morgan has resigned and her unexpired term must be filled. Mr. Van Bastians is eligible and wishes to serve. Is there a motion, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor, and I believe Todd is here in the audience. I just want to point out, he's going to bring together Public Works and Cultural Affairs, and he's going to make the community a lot better by making sure we're lighting our artwork properly. So thank you for your service to the community, and I move to approve.
All right, shall we vote? Post? Motion carries. Congratulations. Agenda item 31. Discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Chad Karcher to the Audit Oversight Committee. Mr. Karcher was originally appointed as a community member in May of 2023. He is eligible and wishes to be reappointed, and I move to approve this appointment. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Karcher, if you are here, or not. It's okay. Agenda item 32. Discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Tony Cornell to the Board of Appeals. Mr. Cornell has served since 2021 in the seat designated as general contractor. He is eligible and wishes to continue serving. Action is outlined in the subject is supported and recommended by staff. I move to approve the appointment. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion carries. Agenda item 33, discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of nominee Bonnie Wall as one of the mayor's designees to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. Miss Lisa Sherman served as one of the mayor's designees, and her term has expired. Ms. Wall is eligible and wishes to serve. I move to approve the appointment. Shall we vote? Is she here? No, she's not. Please post. Motion carries. And if I may take a moment of personal privilege, I've known Bonnie Wall since we went to kindergarten together just a few years ago, and I know she'll make a wonderful addition to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. And I spoke to her on the first night of Passover, and she was very, very excited about the opportunity to serve. So I'm very happy about that. Agenda item 34, discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Rudy Zamora to a Ward 3 seat on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. Mr. Zamora was appointed in September of 2021, is eligible for reappointment, and wishes to continue to serve. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Diaz?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the reappointment of Rudy Zamora to the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission.
Okay. All right. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion carries. Okay. Before we proceed with the recommending committee items, I would like to call up agenda item 48 to be heard at this time. Okay. Agenda item 48. Reports and presentations. Presentation by Jill Tolis, Executive Director, the Gwynn Center, and Nicholas Irwin, Research Director, UNLV, Lead Center for Real Estate, regarding key data from the most recent housing affordability in Nevada. An economic analysis and policy considerations report underscoring critical findings and policy options to increase Nevada's housing supply, and this impacts all wards. Ms. Barajas.
Hey, good morning, Mayor and Council. Arcelia Barajas, Director of Neighborhood Services, for the record. I'm here with Jill Tolles, and we are waiting for the second presenter, Nick. He should be joining us shortly. They will be presenting today on their most recent affordable housing study from the Gwynn Center. So go ahead and hand it over to Jill.
Great. Thank you. And how do I change the slides? Okay, great, thank you. Well, it is such a pleasure to be here before you today, Mayor and members of the council. It's particularly exciting for me to see former colleagues that I served with in the Nevada legislature between 2017 to 2021. And I also have the particular pleasure of presenting as the Executive Director of the Kenny Gwynn Center for Policy Priorities in front of the founding Executive Director of the Kenny Gwynn Center for Policy Priorities, Nancy Bruni. As a legislator, myself as a lawmaker, I look to the Kenny Gwynn Center for fact-based information to help me make more informed decisions, and I always had a tremendous amount of respect for then Executive Director Bruni. Sitting in this role, I have even more respect because I understand how much hard work goes behind this research. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Gwynn Center, we are a data-driven, independent, statewide, nonpartisan policy research center, and we are dedicated to focusing on statewide policy and also, where appropriate, local municipalities. And the presentation today is focused on a topic that has particular interest for you here at the City of Las Vegas. And so recently, the Gwynn Center was commissioned to study housing affordability in Nevada. And as was said, I'm going to be presenting, as well as hopefully Nick, who is on his way. He is with UNLV's Lead School of Real Estate and one of our leading experts in the area of housing affordability behind our research. But there was an entire team that worked on this incredibly important topic to Nevadans, led by Meredith Levine, Nick Irwin, Shane Phillips from UCLA, and then our internal and external subject matter experts. And as we examined this issue, I wanted to share a little bit of the background of how we got here. This study was commissioned by the state of Nevada using ARPA funds. It was conducted over the 2023 and 2024 legislative interim. Hopefully all of you received your hard copies yesterday that were delivered to you. Also want to make sure that the public knows that all of our research is available for free and open to the public to help inform, debate, and discussion around these important matters. It included 53 key informant interviews. We distributed a 15-question open-ended survey with 28 responses. Over half of those were from local governments and regional authorities. And the team applied quantitative and qualitative analysis of housing affordability in Nevada. I want to point out that there's a difference between affordable housing, which has a very specific definition to it, and housing affordability, which we'll get into, how affordable are our units for our citizens. And we engaged in a policy landscape analysis, not just within the state of Nevada, looking at best practices, but also in similar jurisdictions across the United States. And out of that work, the research team offered 17 evidence-based policy options and strategies for the state and local municipalities to consider. And then this work was peer-reviewed by 9 subject matter experts from diverse perspectives. Before we move into the findings of the study, I'd like to share just a little bit about the positioning of the Gwynn Center and why it's so important in today's world. And this is my brain's way of making sense around why we need a nonpartisan policy research center today. Oftentimes, we come to the table with different sets of facts and information based on our algorithm, our news feed, our friends and family. And if you can see on the screens before you, or if you're watching online, there's an illustration of 2 gentlemen arguing over what appears to be only 3 bars on the floor or 4 bars on the floor, who's right? And in essence, that's oftentimes how we come to policy discussions today, and it can devolve into looking at the other person and thinking you're crazy, you're stupid, or worse yet, you're evil. And the Gwynn Center is not here to take one side or the other. And the Gwynn Center is here to lay out all the relevant facts and information to help you make more informed decisions as you serve your constituents. So what were some of the key findings that the research team came across? I will share that I am not part of the research. Like you, I am a consumer and a caring citizen. And so I was eagerly opening up these findings myself and shocked to see what the research team found. Nearly half of Nevada's renters are excessively cost burdened, nearly half. And a quarter of homeowners also find themselves excessively cost burdened, defined as over 35% of your income going to pay for housing costs. Extremely low income households have fewer affordable units available than in any other state, and the state's income growth has lagged far behind housing costs, even in the counties with the highest income growth. Nevada has lost a considerable amount of skilled construction labor and is not well positioned to recover it. Cities in Clark County are lagging in the construction of multifamily housing, and zoning requirements were one of the solutions that could be changed to encourage alternative developments, particularly salient to the audience here today. It was helpful for me to read the report and understand how we got here, and that we got here because of 70 years of consecutive growth as the fastest growing state in the nation up until 2010, and continued at a rapid pace ever since. So you have an increased demand on housing, but then you also couple with that with the fact that we had 2 significant pauses in meeting that demand with supply, through the recession and through COVID. And so those 2 factors combined led us to the position that we're in, where it's been too difficult to keep up with the demand and has burdened our citizens. So today we want to talk to you about the state of housing in Nevada briefly, Nevada's housing affordability challenges, some of the barriers and drivers the research team found, and then finish with some policy considerations and actionable solutions. So I will go through these briefly and then direct you towards the report. But you'll see that, as I talked about in the intro, the percentage change in median monthly household income has not kept up with the median gross rent in Nevada from 2011 to 2023. You also see that the median household income in Nevada and statewide house price index in Nevada has not kept up with the demand. And this was one of the most salient points that came out of the research, in my opinion, and that is that as we looked at the top 5 occupations in the state versus the annual income needed to afford a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you can see that out of those top 5, only one category, and that is management, can afford a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. The other categories include food preparation and serving, knowing that in Nevada, 1 in 5 Nevadans are in the hospitality industry, and in Clark County, that's 1 in 4. And office administrative support also cannot afford, transportation and material moving, and then finally sales and related industries cannot afford a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. So you combine that with the number of affordable and available rental homes per 100 extremely low income renter households in selected states, and you can see where we line up as 50, down at the last, top being South Dakota, last being Nevada. And then last but not least, median gross rent versus the rental vacancy rate in Nevada. You can see from 2010 to 2023 that the rental vacancy rate has gone down, while the median gross rent cost has gone up significantly in the last 10 years. That also translates over to the home vacancy rate in Nevada, again, speaking to the issues behind supply. So from 2007 being over 5% down to 2023 being right around 1%. And then the research team took a look at the housing stock by type. And you'll hear a lot about what we call the missing middle. So developers have built a lot of single-family homes because there's a greater financial incentive. And then they also have developed larger multifamily apartment complexes. But what's missing are those duplexes, the triplexes, and the fourplexes, which provides a great deal of housing options for families. And yet we're missing that. In fact, less than 7% of the market makes up that missing middle of housing stock by type. And then you can also see here in Las Vegas, single-family zoning, and this is where zoning comes into play on the map. We have a great deal of single-family zoning, but when you look at multifamily zoning, it's sparse. And I think that picture is worth 1,000 words. So some other considerations that the research team took a look at was in Nevada's housing affordability was taking a look at it from the supply and demand perspective, the land and infrastructure, which is obviously something that has come to play in conversations of late, and then permitting, construction workforce, population growth, construction costs, and then the missing middle housing. So some of the policy options and considerations that the team put forward fell into 6 different buckets: land and infrastructure, zoning, permitting, resource adequacy, construction costs, and then potential demand side interventions, so that we looked at both sides. And under land and infrastructure, some of the policy options and recommendations were to continue to collaborate with our Nevada's congressional delegation to advocate for the release of more public lands, knowing that 84% of Nevada's land is tied up in federal ownership. And then funding a statewide land inventory and redeveloping abandoned or vacant properties, something that we discovered along the way as an intriguing, innovative solution. And then with zoning, there was incentive reform. So you obviously have two ways to approach this. Do you incentivize or do you mandate? And what are some ways to incentivize reforming zoning options for developers? Allowing missing middle construction through upzoning, just taking a look at current areas that can be upzoned to allow for more of those duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, reducing parking requirements and minimum lot sizes. And I will note that this was one of the areas where we did believe that the local engagement was so incredibly important, as opposed to a statewide solution. You have to know your own neighborhoods to know what would be the right Goldilocks principle in those areas. And then again, where it's appropriate, perhaps encourage ADUs or accessible dwelling units. And then permitting, streamlining and expediting permitting processes. And there's a number of specific recommendations I would point you to in the report. Resource adequacy, establishing a rural workforce housing initiative. Not as applicable for this council, but wanted to include the overview. Institute a middle income housing tax credit. Expand the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Increase transferable tax credits, reduce impact fees. And then under construction costs, bolstering Nevada's construction workforce. We noted in the research that Nevada is the second worst in the nation in the number of apprenticeships available per 1,000 construction workers. So making sure that we're building the pipeline, not just for today, but also for the future. And then potential demand side interventions actually drew inspiration from you all, and looking at the statewide or looking at intentional landlord engagement programs on the local level and how we could encourage that across the state based on some of the successes you've seen here. And then working to increase Nevada's share of housing vouchers, the Section 8 vouchers that we're entitled to but not taking enough advantage of. And so with that, I'd like to introduce one of our experts as part of the team, Nick Irwin. He is an associate professor at UNLV in the economics department, and he's also the research director at the Lead Center for Real Estate. His insight and also the others on the team were extremely invaluable to being able to pull this report together and find evidence-based solutions. And so I would love to open up for questions, and I'm so grateful to have one of our experts here before you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Welcome, expert. Would you
thank
care
you.
to say a few words?
I apologize for being late. I'm so sorry. No, I think Jill said it wonderfully. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can think about can happen at the state or local level, but moreover, I mean, addressing affordable housing is a significant issue across our entire state, within each of our municipalities and within the county. And our failure to address them could impact our long-term economic growth if people can't afford housing to stay locally and work in our economies.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from the council members? Did you have? Okay, go ahead. Oh.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and I appreciate all the work. I just had a question. I don't know how to ask it, and so I'm going to do my best, and I don't know if there's an answer either. So the challenge that I'm facing in my ward is a lot of folks who what I say, built Las Vegas and built a home and are retired now and can no longer afford to stay in their home. There's nowhere for them to go. And so I'm curious if you've looked at the aging population and how does age affect housing? And if we're, as people age, what kind of housing do they need? And as people are young and coming into the market and coming into their own money, what kind of housing market do they need? And how does that affect what supply we have? And I don't know how else to ask that question. It's just an issue that I'm having in my area.
I can jump in with just a caveat about the research, and what you're speaking to is really housing stability. And one of the things that we did identify as a limitation of the research is our scope of work was specifically targeted on housing affordability, which you did touch on, but housing stability for somebody on a fixed income that's being priced out of their home or can't stay, and what are the different levers in in the toolbox that you can pull in order to assist those residents. And there is a lot of discussion at the legislative level about ways to look at housing stability, things like the eviction process and assistance to keep people in their homes. That was outside of the scope of work of this particular project, but Nick may have more to add from his perspective.
I think that's a great way to support everything in context. It's really difficult to think about as folks age. Things become more affordable as we get on a fixed income. Part of the issue is incentivizing construction of senior communities, especially affordable senior communities. That is within the purview of the localities could incentivize those developments. However, they do come at the trade-off of potentially, if you're focused on seniors, you're not focused on the missing middle. So it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game, but it certainly is important. I mean, we know some of the figures that I know Jill showed. People within their recent memory remember how affordable Las Vegas used to be for a lot of folks. And they remember that, and they want to know what happened. And the story is really just the supply. So many people moved here, increased our demand, and we just haven't been able to keep up that supply for a variety of reasons.
Ms. Walensky, did you have, okay. Ms. Sandra, okay. Olivia Diaz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is so just, I think, on point and real, and I had a recent conversation with the neighbor across the way from me. She rents the home across the way, and she was just sharing the struggles of being able to afford a home with 5 children in it, and that just incomes aren't keeping up with the cost of everything, including housing, and how she's entertained potentially going back to California because it's almost comparable for what you make minimum wage in California and what rent prices are here, but the income earning potential here isn't rising to the level of everything. So it broke my heart to kind of hear that there's so many service working class members of our community really struggling to find the next home if the home that they're currently renting is put on the market for sale or wants to be increased in terms of how much they rent it for, so they kind of displace the current family. She also told me that a home up my street is went up from $2,200 to about $2,500 a month. I could not fathom how they could be charging $2,500 a month for a 3-bedroom home in my community. But I mean, this is just to paint and basically articulate with real stories and real lives the impact that your data is shedding light on. And one thing that I did kind of want to share that I think wards 1, 3, and 5 sometimes struggle a lot with, and I don't know if your studies went into this or delved into this much. Unfortunately, I think we've been, as a champion, the city has tried to help move forward any project that comes to us wanting to increase affordable housing options for our community. But one thing that we constantly run into is this NIMBYism, right? The reality is everybody is saying we need more of this housing affordability for everyone in our community, yet when we undertake these projects, people come by droves and say, do not build them near me. And then they dissuade the project from it being family focused to senior focused. And so then the families that I just spoke about initially in my comments then miss out on an opportunity to potentially have access to more affordable options. So as I've been here almost 6 years, I've just noticed that we over-concentrate affordable housing options in certain areas, and we're not spreading them equally. And I don't know if you did any research to shed light on how we do have to have mixed affordable income developments so that we're sprinkling the number of units that are affordable throughout the city and not just saying it belongs here, it belongs here, it belongs here, because I don't believe that's the recipe to a healthy community moving forward. I think that we're all off better if there's affordable price points everywhere. But I just wanted to see if you found anything in your research about, 1, over-concentrating poverty and affordability in certain areas, and 2, how do we make sure it's not just assigned to certain areas of the community that then doesn't help the adjacency or the area in educational metrics and crime statistics. And so, and I'm not saying that I grew up needing affordable housing, my family, right? And so it's not to paint that everyone who needs housing affordability is not a good person. I think there's a big myth behind that when we're talking working class, a lot of people equate it to people who are not working hard to make ends meet every day. And I want to dispel that myth, but there is a certain reality too that when we don't expose our youth to all walks of life, all career paths, as a community, we're missing the opportunity to, by design, just expose them to all of the potential for their futures as well. So anyways, I know it's a heavy loaded question, but I wanted to know if there was anything that you came across that we could potentially look further into as we navigate this challenge that is increasingly hard to keep that drive and that mission and that focus, but do it in a way that won't have unintended consequences many decades down the road.
No, that's a really insightful thing, and that's something that we study in economics. It's what happens when you get a lot of the folks together in areas. These sort of spillover effects of who your peers are does impact your future in both positive and negative ways. And another sort of aspect of all this as well is people, I assume most parents would want to live in an area where the schools are as good as they can afford. The problem is, again, coming back to the affordability issue, a lot of the best elementaries and high schools are in areas that probably don't have a lot of affordable housing. It's certainly affordable at all price points. Part of that issue is coming back to the zoning of where the zoning's been allowed, both within the cities, within municipalities, and within the county, of where multifamily zoning is. Since it is easier to build affordable multifamily units, you can build them more densely. And then we come back to the land issue as well. And then tied into that was infrastructure. It's really tough, especially for lower income folks. If you don't provide them with the appropriate transportation, it's very difficult for them to make it to work. So those areas become less attractive. So it would require a partnership between the folks at RTC and all the local governments to ensure that those are sort of spread out more. Because it's great if you want to put affordable housing far away, but if it's far away from people's jobs, it's much less practical that they're going to actually be interested in that, all else equal. Because they still have to worry about getting to and from work, being near grocery stores, and all the other things that go into your selection of your neighborhood.
Ms. Seaman, did you care to comment? Okay. Ms. Rooney?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the report, and thank you for coming over to make the presentation. It's very interesting. I have a couple of questions related to the missing middle product that you mentioned. So the first is, and this is actually a question posed by another one of your former colleagues, our Deputy City Manager, Sabra Smith-Newby. So with respect to the missing middle project, it was our understanding that builders had shied away from building those in part because of the construction defects issue and litigation concerns. So what role, if any, do you think that those construction defect laws have played in disincentivizing development? I don't know if your research looked at that.
I think it's a fascinating question because it's certainly something that I'm familiar with at the state level. But this research didn't look at that intersection, but I think it would be a valuable question to take a look at when those laws changed and what the impact was that followed after in terms of development in those areas.
Okay.
It's a great question.
And then my other question is, I was struck by how many more multifamily units Reno has developed. And so are you saying that it's simply a zoning issue difference, or has Reno provided more developer incentives or other sorts of incentives to encourage development of that particular product?
I would say zoning is a big component of it, but I would assume there are some additional incentives. I'm not familiar with them offhand that they've provided, but zoning is a big thing. Zoning implicitly controls what we can build where. And obviously you can always ask for variances, of course, but that does require added costs and added time that some projects may not pencil in at that. So zoning is a big component. And then up in Washoe County, they don't have the same federal lands issue as we do as well, which is slightly lessens. It provides more available land that could be built on than we have.
And then my final question is, the report's been out maybe a month, and I know we have a legislative session going on. Are there, of the policy considerations that you proposed, is there any sense that the legislature and stakeholders are gathering support around a couple of them, or of the 17, where do you think there's some low-hanging fruit for either our body or even the legislature? Thank you.
Thank you. We are tracking 6 different bills that are tied specifically to the research, including the governor's bill that included some of our recommendations in a much larger omnibus presentation, and that's making its way through the process, had its hearing, I think, about 2.5 weeks ago. And so a lot of the focus has been, from at least our report, on the zoning aspects and some of the ways to help streamline the processes and encourage more of that missing middle. And so I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. But.
No, I think it comes back to what Councilwoman Diaz says about the NIMBYism as well, always stands in the way of people coming into planning commission meetings and maybe having their disapproval of certain projects. But that's the nature of how housing is built in the U.S. It's very local, even though housing is a regional need. I mean, in order to address our housing needs for all of Las Vegas MSA, it requires Las Vegas and Henderson and North Las Vegas and the county itself. But at any one of those points, there can be a stop of if some people really don't like a particular project, they can make their voice heard, and that can potentially just create more time, more cost. And it's really tough to ignore that because you answered your constituents and you want to serve them the best way you can. So it's a tough balancing act that we're sort of asking all governments across the U.S. to try to figure out how to balance this best, to build more housing, to make the economies more vibrant, to allow more people to have affordable homes, but also balance the needs of other constituents in other areas. It's a very difficult thing we're asking y'all to do.
I will say that Reno did see a 15% increase in that production of that missing middle and the rezoning that impacted the supply. And I do know that they engaged in a very strategic effort of focus groups, community engagement, listening sessions, and as we all know, as representatives, it's one of the most effective ways that even if people at the end may not have initially favored what the outcome was, the fact that they were included and heard in the process, they're much more likely to be accepting of the changes that can be made. It's so important to engage those constituents, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that Reno engaged the use of the Communication Studies Department, which I taught in for 17 years at the University of Nevada. And so utilizing local university partners like at UNLV or Boyd Law School to engage in those focus groups and help to provide that research for you to inform those decisions about how to balance out those complex needs that Councilwoman Diaz pointed out between schools, income levels, the desire for certain types of housing, and making sure that we're not overly concentrating one type of product in one area versus having it be more evenly distributed and having that buy-in from the citizens in your wards.
Councilwoman Summers Armstrong.
Thank you. I was going to try to hold my peace, but I think as we've known each other since 2021 legislature, that I've always been in this space of advocating for affordable housing. And I think that in addition to what government can do, there really is space for us to have partnership with industry. And I think that that's been resistant in some manners. Sir, I heard you mention just briefly about our eviction process in the state. And for those folks who don't know, ours is different than any other state in the nation. You can be evicted with a piece of paper on your door. There's no court hearing. And from people who come from other places and are unfamiliar, they are often evicted and don't even realize what the process is for them to state their case. And our laws need to be addressed in that area. I know that there's some bills going through for both habitability eviction process as well as the eviction process as a whole. And I truly believe that we cannot expect government to find the total solution. We don't have enough tax credits. It's impossible. We have to have an income source, a permanent one, that is going to help fund affordable housing. But we also have to be bold and brave enough to say to the industries that are the people responsible for renting. We have big real estate investment trusts that are coming into our communities and buying our houses by the thousand. Now they are the people who determine who gets to live where. And when we don't put any governors or any expectations on how they behave in our space, we are just chasing a moving vehicle. And I hope that you all, if your paper doesn't address that now, as you are going further down into the rabbit hole on this and addressing the issue of seniors who are aging, trying to age in place, that you also address that issue. We cannot expect working class people who make up the majority of the people who live in this state to have to fight rising cost, slow amounts of their income, and then a system that is against them because it's not favorable nor equitable. So thank you for putting into beautiful words and graphs what the advocacy community has been saying since COVID. We didn't have the money to do such a beautiful representation, but you're telling a story that people have been yelling from the rooftops and no one wanted to listen. And now you have helped us, because I still consider myself an advocate. I can't not advocate for my community because this affects Ward 5 in the most intimate way. And I'm grateful to you. It's wonderful to see you. You're doing excellent work. I'm sure Councilwoman Bruni is very proud of you and how you're continuing in this advocacy, but mostly in the scholarship of addressing our community needs. And I'm really grateful, and I thank you, and I will be quoting this a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, of course.
I have one more question, which my colleague reminded me about. And Nick, this question probably is more for you and kind of beyond probably the scope of this report, since you're working on real estate and housing at UNLV. Have you looked at sort of the role of short-term rentals and corporate ownership of housing here in Nevada? Because it does feel like it's, we just, because everybody wants to come to Las Vegas a couple of years ago, even before we put in the short-term rentals regulations at the county and the city, we were seeing a lot of that. So is that playing a role? Are those forces playing a role in some of the things that we're seeing, and how, I guess, does that compare to other states maybe in the Mountain West? And if you don't have an answer now, just would love to circle back at some point.
I think we could definitely have a conversation about this for hours, because it's something that with the Lead Center we're deeply interested in understanding the amount of corporate ownership and investor ownership. It's just the tricky part for us is actually linking those owners, those LLCs who may own one or two houses, back to any sort of supra group that owns, say Open Door owning a bunch of houses. It's very difficult to track that because the assessor's website doesn't talk to the Secretary of State's website. But we have found that there are definitely patterns of investors that are buying up, whole tracts of some neighborhoods within the county, but some neighborhoods barely have anyone. And that's obviously, we don't quite know. We're still sort of trying to get our mind around what's going to happen if we're taking these single-family homes out of the resale market so people can never become homeowners, but there are more rental units, so we don't know what the net societal effect's going to be. It does mean fewer homes for people to buy. If you want to get people into becoming homeowners, that's a great way to create wealth for your family and generational wealth. We don't quite know. I'm really interested to see, as the short-term rental laws get enforced more, see if that does have a deterrent effect, how many people list. Certainly, we haven't looked at that specific issue, but we do have folks at UNLV who are very interested in short-term rentals. So I'm happy to have a conversation about how we could perhaps provide some research that can sort of help all of you make better policy, at least understand the environment that you're operating in.
And if I can just add to the last two comments, and thank you so much for all of your passion for this issue for so many years, and thank you for the insightful questions. The grant for this research project is over, but we did include the limitations of the study and opportunities for future research that the team would like to dive into. And a lot of the questions that you asked today are the same questions that the research team wanted to dive into more deeply. And so if there's any way that the Gwynn Center, and in partnership with the UNLV Lead School of Center for Real Estate, can be of service to this body, we are more than happy to have that conversation as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your very important and sobering presentation. I know the first home my parents ever bought was here in Las Vegas, and it was $33,000. And I think it's important, and part of our job as leaders of the city is to ensure that those that are coming up behind us have the same opportunity for home ownership, or at least an opportunity to live in a safe and clean environment and raise your children. So thank you very, very much for this presentation, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
This was a presentation only, and no action is required. We will now go back to agenda item 35. Recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at this meeting. Councilman Knutson, would you like to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor.
Bill number 2025-2, an ordinance to amend the Title 19 land use tables regarding various uses to correct drafting errors regarding those uses that were made in ordinance number 6876, adopted last year, and to provide for other related matters.
Move to approve.
All right. Shall we vote? Oops. Please post. Motion carries. Oh, I think it does. Motion carries. Agenda item number 36, new bills. Items 36 through 38, bills 2025-3, 2025-4, and 2025-5 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on Monday, May 5th, 2025. City Attorney, would you read the new bills?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 2025-3, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1485, Alta Drive, landscape maintenance FY 2026, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of maintaining street beautification improvements, assessing the cost of maintenance against the accessible lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said maintenance, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith. Bill number 2025-4, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1516, Fremont Street Maintenance District FY 2026, Las Vegas Boulevard to 8th Street, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of a neighborhood improvement project, assessing the cost of the project against the accessible lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said improvements, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith. Bill number 2025-5, an ordinance to amend LVMC Chapter 6.8 to make various changes regarding ambulance franchises, including provisions to update maximum service rates, change the method and calculation of annual increases in service rates and franchisee penalty items, update provisions regarding the revocation and adjustment of franchises for noncompliance, provide for the extension of ambulance vehicle service life under certain circumstances, and to provide for other related matters.
Would you repeat that?
I already threw them out, sorry.
New bills 2025-3, 2025-4, and 2025-5 are assigned to the May 5th, 2025 recommending committee members, Councilman Knutson and Councilwoman Seaman and Polensky. If any so designated are unable to attend, the clerk's office will coordinate finding substitutes as necessary at my direction.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 39, 24-0672-SUP1, council review, special use permit, applicant Sidras Investments LLC owner, 7th Street Properties for possible action on a council review of the approval of 24-0672-SUP1 by the Planning Commission on the following land use entitlement project request for a proposed 12,700 square foot alcohol on-premise full use with a 7,650 square foot outdoor patio at 115 North 7th Street, T5-MS, T5 Main Street, Zone Ward 3, Ms. Diaz. The Planning Commission and the staff recommend approval. This is This is a public hearing. I now declare it open. Is the applicant present?
Your Honor, Stephen Mack on behalf of the applicant, Sidraz Investments.
Will you care to tell us about your project?
Sure. It's for a nightclub. It's going to be called Bauhaus. There is a similar nightclub in Houston that does extremely well. It's had very good success, and they're bringing the concept here to the downtown area. We've had the opportunity to speak with the surrounding neighbors who initially had objected to it. That includes the DTP, 60 properties, the El Cortez, and then there was a representative from the school district as well with regard to the hours. We believe we've addressed all of those items. We did so at the Planning Commission, and we've met with Councilman Diaz to go over any of the concerns and issues with that, with the project. And we've agreed to certain restrictions on the project, and that is that the nightclub shall close at 8 a.m. With the exception of any school district days, so it'll be closed by 4 a.m. so to be done and over with prior to any school issues, so there won't be any conflicts there. Weekends and non-holidays, there's an outdoor patio as well, which the outdoor patio allows for some really interesting opportunity for the downtown area because there isn't anything like it for the size that it provides. You have the big entertainment area over by the D, and that is for very big, large venues. This is a smaller venue that kind of provides another aspect down in the downtown area, which is kind of nice. However, in concern for the neighbors, during the week, on weekday and non-holidays, it closes at 11 p.m. Weekends and holidays, it can close at 1 a.m. There'll be a 6-month review, then a 1-year review, which we've agreed to, and we've come to an agreement with all of the neighbors with regard to that, and who are now supporting the project.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mack. May I have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. Mayor, the subject site was previously approved for and operated as a nightclub with full alcohol between 2009 and 2024. The request before you is to reestablish the full alcohol use component to the subject site. Staff finds that the proposed alcohol on-premise full use request can be conducted in a manner that's harmonious and compatible with existing and future surrounding land uses and recommends approval of the request. Of additional note, the Planning Commission placed additional conditions of approval on the special use permit, limiting the hours of operation of the nightclub and outdoor patio use, as well as imposed a 6-month and 1-year required review from the date of the business license issuance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on this item? Yes, please come forward. Would you state your name for the record?
Good morning. Dara Goldsmith, address 2055 Village Center Circle, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89134. I'm legal counsel for DTP Properties, representing 60 adjacent properties. We've worked collaboratively with the Bauhaus operators. We've met with Councilwoman Diaz. We did have concerns about the noise because we do have sleeping rooms, beds and heads, as Councilwoman Diaz refers to, which I love that term, within about 20 feet. So that's in part why we have these timing issues of the 6-month review and the 12-month review. We also have, in addition to the beds and heads, we have people who actually reside just outside 350 feet in the 211 micro-housing units. So we're concerned about the noise, but we believe that we've worked through these issues. The one concern I did have is I had provided some additional information previously that didn't appear. I had sent it over. It didn't appear in what council had for the agendized item. And I think that it's important that staff is cognizant of this proximity, both for our properties as well as the El Cortez, that this is a noise concern. And the other thing that I would say is a question that we had that I'm not sure, because we're coming before this council, which takes sometimes a longer time to get reviewed, for these reviews that we're coming back, are we going to be coming, I wanted to confirm whether we're coming back to this council or whether we're coming back to Planning Commission.
City Attorney?
Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. Thank you, Ms. Goldsmith. On the first part, though, community development, do we have the documents she's referring to? Seth and Peter?
I think Ms. Goldsmith is referencing maybe some email exchanges that went to planning staff, and I don't know if you're aware, Mr. Floyd, of them, or Mr. Lowenstein can speak more articulately on it.
Yeah, so Jeff, I think the question is whether under Title 19, if we put a review on it, does it go back to Planning Commission or City Council? The way that the code reads
The first part of the question was that she submitted some comments in reference to how there were heads and beds in close proximity and adjacency to this now entertained project or development being presented to Planning Commission. So this goes back to even when it first kind of popped up, and she kind of submitted some comments about how come in planning's report, when we get all of the debrief of what we think from a planning perspective is sound or not sound, conforms or doesn't conform to our ordinances, she kind of wanted to know why we weren't really paying much heed to that kind of hotel motel counts, multifamily, et cetera. I know that I touched base with staff in doing my due diligence on this item, and the only thing that really triggers a distance separation is a residence, so like a house. But if it's a full multifamily, which we're, I think, increasingly going to see more of in the downtown area, I think it's just something for us to also internalize and figure out a path forward, because I think that there's some parts of our city that are outgrowing its initial establishments, and we need to just continue to evolve as our city evolves. But I think that's the first part of the question that Ms. Goldsmith posed.
Yeah, Councilwoman, thank you for that question. So Seth Floyd for the record. Yeah, so in your staff report on page 5, we do identify what the surrounding properties are. So those adjacent properties are identified in the staff report. I did talk to Ms. Goldsmith at Planning Commission, and she expressed the similar concerns that it wasn't highlighted in the analysis section of the staff report. And you know, our job obviously is to make sure is to analyze projects against what the code says. I do think the staff report adequately does that, and that information is in there, but certainly, obviously, as she is doing, she's able to come and present that information to you for you to consider when you make your final decision.
And to that point, my concern was, since that information wasn't provided with the maps and the distance drawings, my concern was if I come back to either this council or come back to Planning Commission in the future, I don't want it to be said, well, Ms. Goldsmith, why didn't you provide this information to us previously? And I just want to be clear that I have, but it wasn't in the record.
Got it. Jeff Dorgak, City Attorney. That's where I figured you were going with it. Councilwoman Diaz, if you're okay with it, I'll get the documentation from Ms. Goldsmith via email, and we'll include it with the record with your... Go ahead. Okay. So Luann will send that down to you guys to include with the item. On the second point that Seth was getting to from Ms. Goldsmith, we will treat the city council action today on the review as the body ultimately reviewing everything as final action. So therefore, the required reviews at 6 and 12 months will be in front of the city council. I know the community development staff will, knowing that it's 6 and 12 months, they'll be able to get the notices out and tee it up so it hits those dates for you guys. It's not going to be going in the 7 or 8 months. It'll be 6 and 12.
Thank you for the clarification.
I thank you very much, Ms. Goldsmith. Is there anybody else wishing to be heard? Would you state your name for the record?
Yes. Joe Woody, 600 East Fremont. I'm with the El Cortez, and I wanted to kind of reiterate what Attorney Goldsmith was saying, that we had some good collaboration. I want to thank Councilwoman Diaz for taking time to meet with us yesterday. I think we accomplished a lot, and generally we are supportive of this venture now. But throughout this process, there was a lot of talk about the entertainment district and what that means, and you know, that it's just, you know, it seems like some people feel that it's like a free-for-all, that you can just turn up the music and go as long as you want. And you know, since that entertainment district was formed, I was there, it was in early 2000s, a lot has changed, and we've invested you know, $100 million in the El Cortez, and so the dynamic has changed, and we continue to invest. In fact, we have a big project for the Cabana Suite makeover, and when Tequila Azul was in that location, the music that emitted out of there, we couldn't rent those rooms, and so we are going to monitor this closely, and we will certainly, it'll affect our decision. We also have a residential project that goes north of the Cabana Suites that concerns us. So the operators have shown us what they've done in terms of insulation and sound deadening, and you know, we talk about the hours, and, you know, but that's with the operator. If he has a manager or somebody else that comes in and says, you know, I'm going to turn this up, the business is good, we just want a process where we can seek corrective action. And Attorney Mack here said I could call him, so we'll look to do that if we need to. But generally, we just want a quick way to seek corrective action if need be, because, you know, it's any amount is too much. And, you know, this club goes until 8 a.m. You know, our experience with nightclubs in Fremont Street is nothing good happens after 4 a.m. So it goes beyond sound that we'll be keeping our eye on, just for the record. So I want to thank you, Mayor, and members of the council and staff. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Woody, appreciate it. I know you have so stated, but let me get it again for the record. Does the applicant agree to all of the conditions that have been so stated?
It does.
All
Thank you.
right.
And I want to say that we've started a very good relationship with our neighbors and intend to continue that, and we will be fully open, communicative wise, and to make sure that we make them happy. We've triple insulated that place, and we're gonna have them come over when it's done, and just to see what we've done and to make sure that everything is good with them as well.
All right, thank you so much. Is there any comments or questions from the city council members? Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Diaz?
I have a few questions or comments, and then we'll get to the motion part, Madam Mayor. Mr. Mack, I just want to make sure that, you know, what we said in our meeting with the adjacent neighbors is on the record as well. So just wanted to talk about how in our meeting we said that we would be sharing special events as soon as we plan them and calendared them. We would be sharing then with our adjacent neighbors so that they were aware of an outdoor patio event, and that we're going to do everything possible within your technology means to ensure that the sound does not bleed across the alley to the downtowner or you know, diagonally across to the cabana. So can you just kind of hit on that point, how we did agree to make sure that we're flowing the information as promptly and as soon as you all have it?
Absolutely, and that is absolutely correct. We're going to take all the, you know, for instance, the speakers will be pointed inward towards the building. There is a trash enclosure or outside in the back. We're going to extend the building to create more sound barrier through the back end of it. And like Joe said, if there's an issue with the manager there, that they're not getting cooperation, if for some reason or other there's sound leaking out, that they can call me at any time, that I will make sure that it gets to the people that need to know and get corrective action immediately myself, but anybody else will as well. And we've made those affirmations.
And obviously, from this item's presentation at Planning Commission, there's a lot of concern over the key employee and who's managing and operating the premises. Could you introduce that new key employee and who will be leading the charge now of Bauhaus?
Sure. It's Rafiq Merchant, who's present as well. And then he's the main person that will handle it. We also have a consultant who runs the original Bauhaus, and Sammy's here as well.
Okay. Can they come down and just speak to their experience and also commitment to be good neighbors?
My name is Asim Siddiqui, and I'm the owner of Bauhaus Houston. And we've been running the business for the past 6 years, and we never have any problems. And we also work with the community and the neighbors. Whatever the sound problems are, we are willing to work with that. We are investing a lot of time, first research, how to make the indoor room completely soundproof, and even outside. Our business model is mostly indoor, 90% of the time it will be indoor. And also because of the weather situations in, the outdoor use will be very limited, and I don't think so we're gonna use a lot of events outdoor at all. But of course, there's a big space, we would like to use it, and we're gonna do as much sound absorption, and there are panels, and the technology is much more modern now. We're gonna make sure about that, and still, if the neighbors are not happy, we will try to turn the music off or down outside.
My name is Rafiq Merchant, and definitely we will be working with the neighbors. And once this everything is done, we would like for someone to come and listen to the music and see how loud it is. And then we can say as much we want to, but once you hear it, then you will see it.
And I do want to express to the council and the mayor that in the meeting, they were more than open to inviting anyone from the adjacency to kind of know that they were blasting the music, and then they could gauge if it did have any impact upon having everything ready pre-opening, kind of in that vein. Correct, Mr. Mack?
Correct. We actually should have it hopefully done in a couple weeks to have them, which is well before the opening will occur.
And then can you just speak to the investments made already to improve this new nightclub?
Well, there's concrete walls that are on, it's a concrete building, so I don't know how thick that is, 4 or 6 inches thick. Then there's a wall that is between that's another 3-4 inches thick. And then there's going to be up to 3 layers of soundproofing after that. So it's going to be pretty sound tight, hopefully. It doesn't do their business any well if the music is outside and people can stand around and listen to it outside. So we're going to try and keep it as much inside as possible.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure we had everything that we talked through at the meeting on the record, so the neighbors feel comfortable. We all know we're doing the best by each other. I know that all of the conditions that were put forth at planning, but I just want either Mr. Lowenstein or Mr. Floyd to re-articulate just the conditions, and then we can move forward with the motion just so that those are clear too.
Seth Floyd for the record. I'll read the conditions that were placed at Planning Commission. So condition A from Planning Commission was the nightclub shall close at 8 a.m. with the exception of Clark County School District scheduled days when the nightclub shall close at 4 a.m. Condition B, on weekday, non-holidays, the outdoor patio shall close at 11 p.m. C, on weekends and holidays, the outdoor patio shall close at 1 a.m. And D, a required review shall be performed 6 months from the date of issuance of a business license and at 1 year from date of issuance of a business license. The applicant shall be responsible for the submittal of the required review application and associated fees. And as the city attorney just mentioned, that will be a city council review, not an administrative review.
And Mr. Mack, just one last time. Do you agree to all the stated conditions?
Yes, we do.
Okay, with that, I'm going to move to approve. I appreciate you coming to meet with me, clearing the air from Planning Commission to City Council. Getting all of this articulated on the record is important, and I appreciate you staying the course. So with that, I move to approve agenda item 39.
All right, shall we vote? Please post. Item passes. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you, Mr. Mack.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you
we
for
very
your
much
time.
appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item number 40 has been held in abeyance until the June 18th, 2025 City Council meeting. Agenda item 41 has been held in abeyance to the June 18th, 2025 City Council meeting. Agenda item 42 has been held in abeyance until the June 18th, 2025 City Council meeting. We will now hear related items 29 and 43. 29, R-27-2025, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution adopting the Kyle Canyon Special Area Plan for the Kyle Canyon area generally bounded by Moccasin Road, Durango Drive, Ackerman Avenue, Grand Teton Drive, Pulley Road, and Witch Mountain Street. Item number 43, 24-0615-DR DIR 1, Director's Business, applicant owner, City of Las Vegas, discussion for possible action on adopting the Kyle Canyon special area plan for the Kyle Canyon area. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. These items are in Ward 6, Councilwoman Bruni. Item 43 is a public hearing, which I now declare open. Mr. Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. And first of all, I want to draw your attention to the document that was just passed out into the screen. It should say items 29 and 43, not 27 and 41, so I apologize for that oversight on the agenda items. But I think it was timely, and Mayor, I'm not sure if you planned this or not, but I appreciate that the Gwynn Center presentation went first, because I think that was a nice segue into this conversation, because as you all know, as a council, a few years ago, you adopted a master plan 2050, and that was a vision document for where the city was headed, or is headed, over the next 25 or 30 years. And we are, as I think the report indicated, going to be a different city in 2050 than we are today. We are, unlike Clark County and Henderson, and to some degree North Las Vegas, we are out of new developable land for the most part. And so we are looking at other ways to maximize and leverage the resources that we have to house the approximately 300,000 more people who will be here by 2050, and also provide services, housing, transportation, jobs, and all of those things. But one of the few areas where we still do have some developable land, and the reason why we did this area plan early on in our implementation process, is Kyle Canyon. This is the fourth area plan that we have been working on. It represents the far northwest, all of it is in Ward 6, the far northwest of the city of Las Vegas, and still does have some vacant land left available to it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marco Vallada on my team to talk you through the plan, and then we'll be here to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council. Marco Vallada, Department of Community Development, for the record. As Mr. Floyd was mentioning, it wasn't, over the past couple decades, we've seen the footprint of the city, continue to grow to the northwest, and it's at a certain point, some of you might remember that Kyle Canyon Road was like the only, it was in the middle of nowhere, it seemed, but development has reached our limits, our city limits, and this special area plan will help plan for the next 30 years in this area. And it's, as Mr. Floyd had mentioned, one of several areas of the city where we have been working on implementing the broader vision of the 2050 master plan and getting into some of the specifics as to development and infrastructure and issues like housing, transportation, water, so on and so forth. The Kyle Canyon Special Area Plan does have a quarter of it that is more or less undeveloped right now, but also includes other master plan communities, including Sky Canyon and Sunstone. But that northwestern corner is the area where we spent a lot of focus and working with stakeholders in Councilwoman Bruni's office over the last year or so, and our consultant team, Smith Group. We were able to work with the community and kind of determine what we're going to, how we were going to plan for that area in particular, as well as those other master plan communities. This has been an area of a lot of change over time, but there are some specific needs that have been anticipated and will need to be addressed into the future. New fire facilities, metro substations, housing itself, schools, and then parks. And we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes here. We did some outreach with stakeholders and members of the community, and a lot of the things that people told us was they like that feel in the Northwest. They like the accessibility to Mount Charleston, and really this is the gateway to Las Vegas if you're coming from up north, from the Air Force bases or the test site, or from northern Nevada. They like the scenery, they like the accessibility to Red Rock Conservation Area and Mount Charleston, but this is an area that is lacking infrastructure in parts of it. There is a lack of amenities. There are things that need to improve in terms of existing development because there hasn't been anything out there, and development is catching up. So from that public outreach and some of the surveys that we conducted, we developed this community vision, and it really does embrace the outdoor recreation and accessibility to the mountains and to the trails that are out there or will be developed into the future. And this is at the heart of this special area plan. So in terms of the 5 ideas that are central to the plan itself, we take a look at the land, we look at the quality of the place and the neighborhoods, how recreation and active lifestyles can be enhanced and improved, how streets are going to be laid out, and then how we address probably the most critical piece, and Public Works has weighed in on this as well, infrastructure and public service provision. So in general, this document will provide policies for our planning staff to review and assess as applications come in for development. As we look at things like land, we want to make sure that we have native and adaptive plants planted in our neighborhoods, and that we're sensitive to the development that's immediately adjacent, not only those existing master plan communities, but also the Red Rock National Conservation Area and the tribal lands and Tule Springs National Monument. We want to make sure that we have that range of housing options and look at where are those locations for mixed-use development, particularly at US 95 and Kyle Canyon Road. Where can we have a thoughtful transition of density from the northwest, going up the mountain into the Mount Charleston area, and how do we create that sense of place? So with this is an advisory land use plan that provides that transition where we have that density and intensity closest to where the freeway is, and then tapering it off as we go further and further west up to the mountain. And again, planning staff can make recommendations of approval or denial or conditions based on how this fits with that overall scheme. In terms of recreation, we have a number of opportunities, current and future, for outdoor recreational purposes, as well as trails to link different parks and resources together. We have, of course, Allen Beck Memorial Park and Igor Soldo Park and the Northwest Regional Park will soon be additions to the Kyle Canyon area. But again, if you want to go up to Mount Charleston, having the ability to do that and to hike there and recreate there are trailheads within this area that we want to have built as well that will help make those linkages together. And with these major amenities, you'll be able to have opportunities for for traditional recreation as well as doing things outdoor biking or hiking, so on and so forth, as well as take advantage of this regional complex and sports park that Public Works has been planning on in conjunction with the school district, which will add a comprehensive four-year high school. In terms of streets, we do want to embrace Vision Zero. We have worked to meet up with NDOT and look at some of the specifics on Kyle Canyon Road itself and how we can make that a safe thoroughfare. We've had a few meetings over the last couple of months with them in terms of how we want Kyle Canyon Road itself to look and how make sure that it is a safe corridor with the ability to handle bicycles and people who want to go out and walk and connect to different parts of Kyle Canyon and areas to the east and to the south. In terms of the overall investment, though, we have looked at that question because that's probably the one that will dictate how development is to occur. I mean, we don't have schools, we don't have fire stations out there now, but we will need to look at the methods of doing, that financing as development comes in, specifically for water, sewer, flood control, and then other energy and road improvements. And the estimated cost that you'll find in the appendix is north of $650 million just on a first pass. And that's over the entire years of the plan and as development comes in. There are a couple of things that need to come into place. First and foremost, water. There are pressure zones that are out there. We'll need to have the water infrastructure come into place, but right now in the Las Vegas Valley Water District's capital plan, we don't have reservoirs and we don't have some of the major laterals that are needed to accommodate some of the development further to the west. Similarly, we'll have to make the connections on the sewer side. So some of the construction that, when that does occur, we'll need to have our city sewer extend to those same places as neighborhoods develop themselves out, and that does impose a similar cost to get that return flow credit back to our wastewater treatment plant and then back out to Lake Mead in kind of concert with the water district. In terms of flood control, we have a master plan that we work through with the Regional Flood Control District. A number of facilities have already been identified in terms of channels to move floodwaters that do come off of the Spring Mountains into detention basins and into the Las Vegas wash system. But again, those basins and some of those channels haven't been funded yet. We will need to, again, be deliberate in terms of how this area develops out and make sure that flood control is placed adequately and phased in such a way so that neighborhoods don't develop their own on-site retention or don't need to. So there are a lot of other things that we have incorporated into this special area plan that overall embrace the 2050 master plan and its overarching goals. We want to continue working with the Councilwoman's office. We do have a number of other special area plans going on simultaneously. We're going to be finishing up the La Madre Foothill Special Area Plan next for Ward 4, as well as the Charleston Special Area Plan for Ward 1. But similar to Kyle Canyon, this is aiming to develop housing, to develop transportation, to develop infrastructure, and meet their long-term goals of the 2050 master plan. And if there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this item? Please state your name again.
Hi, my name is Tashika Lawson. I actually used to live over here at the community right before this, Centennial Hills. It took a long time for that community to actually get built up, so I'm excited to see that we're planning ahead for new communities to come. But just like we were talking about when it comes to affordable housing, I would like for us to build into the infrastructure and the pre-planning right now to be able to have an intake system for people who are showing a decline in financial independence so that they don't end up in some of our wards that are actually currently providing the core of all of our supportive services, such as Ward 5, Ward 1, and Ward 3. Most of the people who are going to come out and say that they don't want low income or affordable housing in this neighborhood, their kids, their grandkids, their parents, their loved ones, their friends, they're going to end up in the communities that currently cannot support more supportive services. So if we're going to be planning right now for that, I would like to actually have that also planned into the core of this new plan.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else wishing to be heard? In that case, I will close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from City Council members? Okay. All right. We will act on item 43 first. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Bruni?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to acknowledge Marco and the work that you've done. I think, as many of us know, this process has taken so long. I think we could have birthed not one, but two babies, because it's been at least 18 months since we had our first set of focus groups. So I want to thank you for shepherding this process as you would your own child. I think the conversations have been great. I also know that I just want to publicly acknowledge that we've had a lot of applicants and interest and developers come up to that area. So I want to thank them for their patience. I think some of the projects that came in early took a little bit longer than we thought, but again, we were kind of in the middle of this process. But I do think we've got a good framework, and there is growing consensus about the vision that we have and the way we build out so that, we do address the neighbors' concerns of wanting connectivity to the nature spaces and trails and just really leveraging the beautiful landscapes that are out there. So thanks to you both and your teams. And with that, I'm happy to approve or make a motion to approve item 4324-0615-DR1.
Thank you. Shall we vote? Please post. The item passes. And on motion-related item 29, Ms. Bruni.
I'll make a motion to approve 29-R-27-2025.
Shall we vote? Please post. Motion passes. Thank you both very, very much. Agenda item 44. 24-0638-VAR1 variance, applicant owner Martin Mendez Nolasco for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow an existing patio cover carport and a proposed patio cover porch that do not conform to Title 19.06 development standards for setbacks, placement, size, and lot coverage on 0.14 acres at 4921 Elmhurst Lane, R1 Single Family Residential Zone, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. The Planning Commission recommends approval. Staff recommends denial. This is a public hearing that I now declare open. Is the applicant present?
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Simon from Plotted Design, representing the applicant.
Thank you so much. Would you like to tell us about your project?
Absolutely. So we initially went to the Planning Commission meeting where we were asking for a porch and a already existing carport cover. The porch, upon their request, we moved back to behind the front setback, so that's no longer part of the application. So we were just asking for the 0 setback for the existing unpermitted carport cover. An issue that came up was making sure that it was fire rated, which we did include on the proposed floor plan as well as the 3D models in the application that we handed in. And then we are just asking for approval to go ahead and get this already existing carport permitted. We will be going through the building department and making sure that it's fire rated so that it is safe for them, while alleviating as much cost to the property owner as possible.
Thank you very much. Can we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. The applicant made significant revisions as indicated to the requests subsequent to the February 11th Planning Commission meeting, resulting in the elimination of the front yard setback deviation for the proposed porch, as well as the proposed deviation of the aggregate accessory structure floor area. Current request only includes the 0-foot setback for the side yard for the existing unpermitted carport. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented, and the applicant has created self-imposed hardship by constructing the improvements that encroach into the required side yard setback. In view of the absence of any hardship imposed by the site's physical characteristics, it's concluded that the applicant's hardship is preferential in nature and is therefore outside the realm of the NRS chapter provisions for granting of the variance. Therefore, staff is recommending denial of the request. Thank you.
Does the applicant agree to all of the conditions?
Yes.
Okay. This is an open hearing. Does anybody wish to be heard on this item? Okay. Seeing no one? Are there any questions and comments from the council?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming online and chatting with us yesterday. We want improvements in the community. I've driven by this house several times in the last, walk the neighborhood during campaign, of course, but we've driven by going to different activities in the community, and I'm glad to see people are really interested in making improvements, but we did have some concerns, and so I've added a couple things, and Mr. Lowenstein will address them. These are nothing new. We talked about it yesterday. So thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
Through you.
anybody else on the council wish to speak? No? Okay. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Summers Armstrong? Oh,
Through you, Madam Mayor.
yes,
if I
I'm so
may-
sorry.
Thank you. What I have is a proposed amendment to condition number 3 of the application. It will now read, "All necessary building permits shall be obtained within 180 days from final approval, and final inspections shall be completed in compliance with Title 19 and all codes as required by Building and Safety Division." Thank you.
Does the applicant agree to those conditions?
Yes.
All right. Can we get a motion, Ms. Summers Armstrong?
Thank you. I move to approve this application with stated conditions.
Okay, shall we vote on the motion? Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Agenda item number 45, 24-0647-SDR1, Site Development Plan Review, applicant Aikis Development Corporation, owner, City of Las Vegas, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 4-story, 22-unit multifamily residential building on 0.33 acres at the northwest corner of Van Buren Avenue and F Street, T4-N, T4 Neighborhood Zone, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing, which I now declare open. Is the applicant present?
Yes, Your Honor, members of the council, my name is Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. To my right is Chico Clark with Oikos Development. They are the applicant on this matter that's before you. What I'd like to do is give you a brief presentation here with respect to what we are requesting. The first thing I'd like to do is locate you on the overhead here where the property is actually located. This is about a third of an acre of property, as you can see here on the zoning map here. It's on the northwest corner of Van Buren and F Street. The surrounding zoning, the zoning on this property is Zone T4 neighborhood. The T4 neighborhood allows for a multifamily. It's actually permitted in the zoning district, and that is what we're asking for here, which I'll get into in the presentation. This piece of property here is also part of a couple of plans. First of all, it's a part of the redevelopment area 1 plan. This is also a part of the 2045 downtown master plan, the historic West Side district plan. And this is also part of the 100 plan. So the good news is there's been a lot of study of this property in this area by a lot of professionals here in trying to see how we can build some synergy for development in this area here for the west side. With that being said, the next thing I'd like to do is show you the site plan for the proposed multifamily development. For purposes on the overhead here, this is Van Buren Avenue, and this is F Street located here. We are proposing a 4-story building, which I'll show you the elevations on this piece of property. There are 22 units that are affordable for affordable housing that we've been working with your staff. Of the 22 units, 5 of them are 1-bedroom apartments, 12 of them are 2-bedroom apartments, and 5 of them are 3-bedroom apartments. So what we'll have here is on the first floor of the 4 stories, the first floor will be amenities and play area and offices. On the second and third and fourth floor will be the residential units. What's important that I'm going to show you on the overhead here is there's some changes that we've made since the Planning Commission meeting. My client has worked very closely with Councilwoman Summers Armstrong in her office and meeting with some of the neighbors and trying to come up with some solutions here to address some of the concerns that have been brought up from the neighborhood meeting, from the Planning Commission meeting, and other subsequent meetings since the Planning Commission meeting. On the overhead here, the couple things that I do want to point out is some of the changes that we've made since the Planning Commission meeting. One of the things that we've done is we've moved the building, this building here, 3 feet to the east and working with your staff. The reason for that is because that gives us the ability along this west property line, because we have a existing single-family home that's located here. So along this west property line, this gives us the ability to put in oleanders and landscaping in there, because the oleanders, if you're familiar with them, they grow fairly quickly and they're big and bushy. And we've worked with your staff. There's a condition that if this application is approved, that it would be required that we would have 24-inch box oleanders along the west property line here. Another change that we made, the third change that we made is it was asked to move the trash enclosure as far away from the residential property to the west of us. And we initially had the trash enclosure placed in this area where we've moved it over into this, into this area here as I'm showing you on the overhead. So we moved it as far east as possible as we can. The fourth thing that we did is, and I'll show you on the plans, because we have, on these plans here, what you'll see here are, we put in some screen windows along the west property line. These will have the louvers up facing upwards, so it will make it difficult from someone who lives on the west side here, who faces out on the west side, will be looking out of their window. We put the screening on there to give some view protection or some privacy protection to the adjacent property owner. We initially, as we started this process, we did not have that. We just had our regular windows. We were looking at awnings. We've, working with everybody trying to figure out what is that win-win situation, and that's some of the proposals that we have. I believe there's a condition, proposed condition, ensuring that what we're representing before you today is exactly what you're going to get. That being said, it's a beautiful building here. The investment for this area is going to be about $10.5 million of an investment. What we believe with this is a jump start of to help create synergy in this area, because what I started in the beginning of my presentation about the 3 different plans that has been reviewed in this area. What has been determined is that your staff is recommending approval of this application because we meet the guidelines and policies. As you heard the presentation earlier from the Gwynn project, or the Gwynn presentation, you have a housing stock problem. Adding this multifamily in here, the affordable housing, helps that situation and meets that policy. As a matter of fact, you also, by adding this into this neighborhood here, you provide a variety of housing. And one of the things I'm a big believer in is, because this meets this policy here, but the example is all of us, if we have kids, when our kids are ready to move out of the house, how much we love them, we want them to come out of the house, but you'd like to have them in your community, right? And I know I do that with my son. He lives in an apartment complex about 10 minutes from me. I live in a single-family house. He stays within that community. The nice thing about this project here is knowing, as a family man, is knowing people who live in this area, who have kids in this area. The last thing that you want to do living in the west side here is have your children move to Summerlin, move to Henderson, or move to another part of Las Vegas. I think you'd want them within that community. So I think that this is a good thing here of what we're proposing, and that's one of the reasons why we meet those policies within the plans. We have access to various transportation in the area for RTC, which is important when you're dealing with affordable housing. Development of vacant lots, that's another policy. Is if you took a look at the aerial here or traveled the area, and if you know the area, there's a lot of vacant lots. Again, thinking that coming in with a project like this is definitely will build that synergy for other investments of millions and millions of dollars that will come into the neighborhood. And finally, it's an infill piece. It's an infill that comes in here and creates good synergy, as I already mentioned. So if you're inclined to approve the project that's before you, we have some additional conditions. I know we've been working with your staff, and I want to thank your staff and the councilwoman and Kelly and the liaison. Everybody's been great to work with, and the neighbors, and trying to come up with some conditions. Not everybody's in support of the project. There's people here who speak in opposition. But one of the other things that we would like to do if this project is approved is there is a condition that staff has that along this property line here, the wall is not 6 feet in this area, somewhere along here. There's a condition that if this is approved, that if the adjacent property owner will allow us, we will build a 6-foot-high block wall along that property line or on top of her wall if it's structurally engineered to do so. And that would be at our cost, obviously. That would give some additional privacy. And so there's a condition that staff has written up. The other condition that staff would add on to this is if there are any substantial changes to this plan, to the height, to the density, to the setbacks, or any significant changes, we would have to come back as a major site development plan review, which means it would come in as a public hearing, which is perfectly fine. Because one thing I want to do, and as we discussed with the councilwoman, is if we make any representations here, let's put it in writing. Let's make sure that whatever we're representing is true. And if there's any changes whatsoever that are significant, let's come back to the public hearing process so no one's not surprised. So that being said, your planning commission heard this application. They recommended approval of the application. Your staff is recommending approval of the application since we meet the policies and guidelines. And we have some additional conditions, as I mentioned, that staff will mention if this application will be approved. That being said, I could answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. May I have a staff report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Peter Lowenstein for the record. The proposed development supports the goals and policies identified in the 2050 Master Plan and the Vision 2045 Downtown Master Plan. Staff finds the proposed development can be harmonious and compatible with the surrounding area and therefore recommends approval subject to conditions. Also of note, since the March Planning Commission meeting, the applicant has further revised the proposed development to provide additional landscape buffering for visual mitigation to the property to the west, as well as an amended building's western elevation to include window louvers. The additional conditions, as mentioned at the time of the motion, I'm more than happy to read them in. Thank you.
And does the applicant agree to all of the conditions?
When they get read in, yes, I will. Yes, I do.
Good answer. This is an open meeting. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to be heard on this item? Seeing none, I'll close. Oh, so sorry. Oh, I think it says so on
Hello, council members. I would like to enter these into the minutes.
Would you please state your name for the record?
My name is Cordelia Wallace. I live in the property right adjacent to the proposed project. I live at 610 West Van Buren, and I would like to enter these into the minutes. I have one for the mayor, one for the councilwoman, and one for the city clerk, please. It go to either one, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so like I stated, my name is Cordelia Freeman Wallace. I met with Councilwoman Armstrong before the Planning Commission meeting, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to that meeting because the day of that meeting, I was having surgery. So I wasn't able to voice my opposition, unfortunately. I grow a lot of my own fruits and vegetables. I have a peach tree, a plum tree, fig tree, guava tree, lemon tree, date tree. And I get the sun, I lose all of that sunlight from sunrise up until about 1 o'clock. And that would pretty much decimate, which is a large part of my food source. I grow my own, like I said, my own vegetables and fruit. And that sunlight is vital for a good portion of my food source. And as well as needing that natural sunlight from my food source. I also get that natural sunlight for the inside of my house, which mitigates needing artificial light and a heating source. So, because I have a big picture window. And so that natural light that comes in on the east, it heats my house and also gives me that light. And I sit and I work, because I do a lot of my work on the computer, and that light is vital when I am doing my work. And so I would lose that light as well. Having a 4-story building right next door to me. So that light would be completely decimated. I would no longer have that natural light. My loss of privacy would be lost. I spend a lot of my time in my yard, like I said. And when I'm out in my yard, I dress lightly, because when you're working, of course, you get overheated. And so I do worry about privacy. And so they said they would put the awnings up, but, you know, people do tend, if they, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. If they want to look down onto my property, they will. If you look at the pictures that I provided, it shows, you know, a lot of what I'm growing and my yard and stuff. And so, you know, on nice spring days and on hot summer evenings, I sit out in my yard and I lounge. And that sense of security would be lost. You know, having a huge 4-story apartment complex right next door, basically sitting on top of my property. There would be a great increase in vehicle and foot traffic. And from what I'm told, the property would not be secured. Anybody can walk onto the property, and already there's a problem with homelessness. You know, the properties that's already over there, the apartment complex that's already over there, they're over there constantly, rifling through the trash. And when they do that, they just throw the trash anywhere. And like I was told, that wasn't worked into the plans, you know, having it gated. So they would be on the property, the homeless people. You know, they go on there, they sleep, and then, you know, I worry about that as well. And like I said, they would enter the property right along my east wall. And so I worry about the constant noise, you know, and so because it's pretty quiet, basically, there really isn't that much noise, and so having an apartment complex 4-story, you know, people in a 24-hour city, you know, people would be coming and going constantly. So there would be noise constantly. There's already an oversaturation of low and fixed income rental properties in the area. And studies have shown that when the area has too many low and fixed income rental properties in an area, it adversely affects the value of your home. So this will decrease the value of our homes. You know, we as homeowners, we are not against progress in the historic West Side. We want that. But we were really looking forward to having homes built on that parcel of land right there. Because it would maintain a continuity of our homes. This 4-story apartment complex, it does not fit the scale and the character of the homes surrounding it. You know, we have these single-family homes, single story, and then you have this huge 4-story apartment complex. It's like an eyesore, you know. And so, like I said, we really wanted, you know, other homes, you know, Habitat for Humanity or somebody to come in and build homes right there, you know. I know the city owns the plot of land right there at H and Jackson, and it's right across the street from a kid's playground. You know, I'm like, why could it not have been put right there? I mean, there's no homes surrounding that plot of land that's owned by the city. It makes more sense to put it right there. And then also, that plot of land is right across the street from another apartment complex. It just made more sense to put it right there. Okay, and then also, you know, I was told, you know, from a couple of people, well, it has to be 4 stories and 22 units in order for the investors to get a return on their money. And, you know, I'm thinking, okay, what about us homeowners? We've worked so hard. I've been there 26 years. And, we as African Americans, we've been redlined and, locked out of so many things, and we've got a piece of the American dream, home ownership. And we've worked so hard to create a legacy and create generational wealth for our families, and to get this stripped away from us, decreasing the value of our homes, and to worry about the investors more than the homeowners who've been here for decades. I mean, why not worry about the people who've been here for decades, rather than the investors, people who more than likely, most of them don't even live in the community. So just, take that into consideration, because like I said, we've been here, I put my blood, sweat, and literal tears into this. I take pride in my home. All of us take pride in our homes. I keep my home up. We all do. We just please, I know that you hear us, just please listen to what we're saying, take into consideration our concerns, and, this really means a lot to us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak?
Good morning, City Council, Madam Mayor. My name is Deidre Edmond Drew. I'm the property owner at 418 Jackson in 89106. I'm also the CEO of the Jackson Street Alliance. The Orchis project will be 1 block south of Jackson Avenue within the historic West Side. I am in favor of this new development. As was stated before in public comment, Chico, Clark, and Orchis have done their due diligence over the past few years. They've made requested changes and has engaged the community. The historic West Side not only needs but deserves to revitalize in a way that breathes new life into this community. Keyword being community. This is an infill project, and I think it's an excellent use of a lot that has been remained empty, one that the unhoused more than likely encamp on. There are projects that I personally feel should not be in this area, but the West Side Flats will absolutely enhance 89106, and I am in favor of this being passed so that it can spur more growth in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Drew. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Take your time.
Beatrice Turner. First of all, this project came along when Puppy Stuff was sitting here as the city councilman. This didn't come along with the new councilwoman, because you've been here 3 days ago Sunday. But to do that, and you see the pictures of how they keep their homes up right there, that's out of line to do them like that. I mean, because she got a beautiful home, beautiful front yard, backyard. And the neighbors over there take pride in their stuff over there, although they got that ratchet church across the street from them that don't do nothing. But That don't need to go right there on that piece of property, and it do not. And you know, before they even got that property, Cedric should have met with the community and get the input from the community, and that didn't happen. He didn't do that. And I don't care who stand here and say they support it. No, it don't need to be supported. So first of all, their property ain't worth a damn over there on Jackson Street, okay? So no, right there, no, that don't need to go right there. You talk about making a slum, you gonna make a slum over there. So is they gonna have on-site management gonna be there? No, it's not. It's gonna be just open to the homeless and the whole 9 yards, and the kids gonna have to go cross the streets to the park, and that ain't no place for them kids to be walking from there to the park with all the homeless and the different stuff that come through there, especially them little girls and little boys walking through there with those folks. That don't need to go there. But I tell you what, put it there. And you know, I ain't been here in a long time, and y'all know that. But every time some on Ward 5 come up, I'm gonna make it my business to be sitting front row center. I'm gonna be y'all worstest damn nightmare if you let that go in there, because that's what that's gonna be, a nightmare in the community. And I wanna say this, Councilwoman, her yard look better than yours.
Oh, how nice. Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak?
Hello.
Would you state your name?
My name is Miss Kathleen Niblett. I live at 622 West Van Buren Avenue. I'm the neighbor of Cordelia. I'm on the corner end, and then she's right next to the property. I've been there 26 years as well, and I understand that they want to beautify the community, but nothing has been done in the 26 years that we've been there. Nothing but, you know, the homeless is taking over. The neighborhood is cleaned up now, but to put what they want to build there, I don't think it goes with our neighborhood. Maybe houses, put another house or something of that nature there, but to make it congested, I don't see it. And I have grandkids, you know, that I want to go out and play. I don't want them to be bombarded, you know, because that's not the space for it, you know. I oppose it. I don't want to see this happen, and just take our feelings, take our frustration into consideration. If you live there and you've been there all that time and nothing has come about, no change, no nothing in the community, even across the street. Didi's, they had Didi's over there. They shut that down. Everything they're shutting down, taken away from the community. But then you want to put a big building for 22 units, you know. That's not right. That's not right. Just take in consideration our feelings and how we feel about our home, that we've been there 26 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak on this item? Please come up to the podium.
Hi, my name is Tashika Lawson. I did speak earlier. I did just want to add a couple of points. One, I expressed an extreme amount of empathy for the residents that are currently voicing their opposition. But I will say that the city holds, at the time that this went up, held about 40 properties in the historic West Side that could have been chosen for this high density, transect zone. So it could have been zoned for, you know, a 2-story, 2 to 3-story with larger setbacks, and no offense, it was not. So unfortunately, the people who are currently trying to develop this property are only going under the guidelines as set by the city of Las Vegas. We have currently, at the very minimum, 3 other properties, some held by churches, other held by the civic advocacy organizations, others owned by the city of Las Vegas, all that are actually that are not facing residential area residences, not next to the parcels where a person is currently residing or sitting next to a fourplex. None of these properties were chosen by the city as one of the first properties to go up for building in the neighborhood. That is part of the issue, which is, I believe, currently a very big problem that is currently being miscommunicated between our community of the West Side and the city of Las Vegas. That and the property builders that are currently trying to build over here, even if they would like to change the parcel, like the city wants to put something up, the low-income tax credits that were applied for, I seen them attending these conferences, trying to actually get these prices for these particular units to be dropped down as far as they can, not to offer low-income slums, but to be able to offer products for people who are like myself, who are young professionals, emerging adults, small families, to be able to afford products that they would like to live in the historic West Side. There are a lot of places that we could have built on, but the city of Las Vegas is who chose this particular site. So I do believe that it would be very beneficial for the city of Las Vegas to also be able to take responsibility and have those types of conversations directly with the residents, and understanding that the current zoning that is over here, the form-based code, was not really clearly communicated in community meetings to the residents. We have people who think that we're still zoned for R1. That zoning went away in 2022 when this new form-based code was adapted, meaning that instead of using the form over use, they can use the use over form, meaning that we don't actually have to ask for as much permission or have to deal with as many problems that we did trying to actually build new businesses near the churches, which was a large part of those barriers. We're trying to do a lot of infill building, and it's very hard to do that when you can't get access, because 11% of part of this neighborhood is owned by people who are in churches. We've got a large percentage of people who are straw buyers who are only speculating in this neighborhood to build. And then we have a large percentage of our community that has been redlined out of the redevelopment of their parcels. So they may be sitting on our community sits on a large amount of legacy land with no options for redevelopment. So if we don't start addressing these issues, we're going to constantly be at odds, simply because of the fact that we're not using things like the Nevada Revised Statute 279, which is for the redevelopment of neighborhoods such as this that are in census tracts that are designated for the redevelopment with the maximum amount of funding options for not only our families, but the businesses that are actually going to really develop in harmony with our community. If we do not start doing stuff like that, we're going to continuously be at odds. I honestly really do support this particular I would like to see this built. Okay. I don't think that it was right when the form-based code maps were drawn, that they were drawn knowing that this was drawn as a high density parcel, when it could have actually been drawn as a slightly lower density parcel that would actually have been in harmony with what the residents would have liked. So at the very least, I would like for us to start considering coming back to the community and actually talking about the possible redesignation of some of these parcels under the 1909 form-based code for the historic West Side, because we have things that are currently they're not zoned properly. We have things like the Moulin Rouge side that is currently zoned as a T4, when it could be designated as a T6, meaning that it's a difference of between 5 stories and 20 stories. And when you're talking about high catalytic properties that have real chances to be able to bring and revitalize our communities, we do need that. We also need things like the Edmond Center to be drawn back into the opportunity zone, because of the fact that that is a parcel that is currently if you're looking at that, is almost, I believe, 13 acres. That's as big as the stratosphere. And it's currently drawn out of the largest redevelopment catalytic zoning map in our area, not only just the city of Las Vegas, but the historic West Side. We need these sites to be redrawn, and we need the city to actually really look at these, how they zoned these maps, and actually come to the community and see how it is. We have a lot of opportunity, but we need the city to actually look at this community from the perspective of rebuilding the community in harmony with the community would like and what it needs into the future.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Please come forward and state your name, and then we're going to close the public hearing.
Hello, my name is Ambrose Wilson, representative of Black Agenda for Small Business Development. And I come today to engage with Chico Clark to help mentorship and different projects in developing the children's academics. And we want to bring it to his attention just to help different alignment and safety with the children and teach them different aspects of living and developing.
Are your comments pertinent to this, this agenda item?
Yes.
It is. Okay, it's dealing with this item in
Yes, ma'am.
particular. Okay.
And that's basically what I was going to say is, we're going to help develop the children's community and academics within the project.
So are you in support of this?
Supporting the, yes, I am.
Oh, thank you very
Sorry.
much. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak before we close this?
Good morning, Mayor. My name is Joel Epstein. I'm an inventor. I've been living in Las Vegas for over 10 years now, and I worked in desalination projects over in the San Diego area, but I've been always working with water. And the thing is, I've actually come up with a workable way of manufacturing water.
Excuse me, Mr. Epstein, are your comments pertinent to this particular agenda item? If not, then you'll wait for public comment to speak, if you don't mind.
I'll be glad to, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. So.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the council?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a very controversial, I would say is the proper word, project. We know that historic West Las Vegas has been divested for generations. The subject property has been empty probably 30 years, the entire time that I've lived in the state. And we've got to begin somewhere in finding projects that are respectful to the community on one hand, but are catalytic in growing and developing our community. As a dear friend of mine constantly says to me, we have to find a way to say yes. And the project at first, as I saw it, had some issues, and I was very, very clear with Mr. Clark that I was not happy with some of the things, and they had to do with how we were screening the neighbor to the west, Ms. Freeman, and how we were dealing with her real concern about clear story windows looking over her property and her lack of privacy. And I went online myself to find the screening devices. They're used actually in Australia. I was online for hours trying to find something that would provide respect for her privacy. And I think this is a doable option, along with moving the building back so that we have vegetative screening, which will do a couple of things. One, it will give her privacy on that wall, but also it will cool because those plants will create a cooling effect to the block wall. to both sides, to her property and to the property where the proposed project is going to go. I have to give props to Tashika. I've watched you over the years be very, very clear when you are researching and finding information that you share. And you are right in some aspects that we could have done a better job in form-based code. I think the city did what they thought was right, but I think that we do need to revisit some of this, and I hope that the community will work with us to do it. But right now, we have a project that's been in the works for 3 years. The developer has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in making sure that they met they were responsive, first of all, to a request for proposal that the city put out, and that they were responsive and responsible in developing what the city had asked them to do, which is to provide affordable housing. I will be honest, I lived next door to an apartment complex when I was a kid. We had a single-family home in Oakland, California. My parents used all their little coins and bought this little house, and I lived there most of my elementary school and my life before 16. And it was great to have neighbors. It was great to have kids next door. But I think all of us can be honest that the real issue with not in my backyard is how developers and property managers manage their properties once people are in them. And I think that is where we have the most opportunity to do better as a municipality. And you will hear some of the, Mr. Lowenstein's going to read into the record conditions. We pushed as far as we could with our current rules and to ensure that this property will be well maintained in the community. And I've also told Mr. Clark that they need to immediately engage in property management that is well respected in our community and well established so that this property is well maintained. Building a building is the same anywhere. You put up sticks and concrete, you put up piping for water, but who cares about how that property is maintained over the long haul determines whether it will have genuine connectivity to the community. And as a city councilwoman, that is going to be my thrust. And I've told Chico clearly, he's under a microscope. This Oak Noise is under a microscope. And they will be required for as long as I am here, and even longer because I'm not moving. I will be in your face to ensure that this property is well maintained, because this is the first vote for a multifamily that I will cast, and this is critical. I'd like to speak to our community members who may have missed the presentation that was done by the Gwynn Center. I've been an advocate for affordable housing and have been fighting and taken body blows in the legislature, trying to find ways to get housing that is affordable to our community. I want to share just a couple of little facts about Ward 5. In the presentation that was done by the Gwynn Center, and I'm so glad they did this because it gives quantifiable data to what we've been talking about for years. Over 53% of the people who live in Ward 5 fall into the two categories of the lowest paid, between $30,000 and $41,000 a year. That is below the area median income. Food preparation and service-related folks and people who work in office administration. That's how I came up in this business. I was a legal secretary at a law firm when I first got here, making $16,000 a year in 1990. 16. When I got divorced in 1994, I was making $23,000 a year. It's only God that helped me to make ends meet. Only. We have neighbors who need a good place to live. They don't want to be in Summerlin. They don't want to be in Henderson. And they know they're not welcome in Boulder City. Ward 5 is home. They have history and families, and it is our responsibility to ensure that they have a place to live that is decent. That park on the corner of D and Van Buren was just redone by the city of Las Vegas. They put hundreds of thousands of dollars so that our children could have a clean, safe place to play. I want our kids to go there. I drive by every weekend, every Saturday, to see that and make sure that our kids are there. And last weekend there was a birthday party, and it was amazing. And I want to see more of that. We have Ethel Pearson Park that is on the capital improvement program next year that is going to be rehabbed. Why? Because our kids have a right to go to the park. But if they don't have a decent place to live, what good is having a good park? This is not if or and. This is all of it. And we have to be a community that welcomes our neighbors, because these are my kids and your friends, and they need to have a good place to live. So I'm going to support this project with the conditions and with the understanding that Okoy's, you have a high standard, and anybody else that is coming into the parameters and the Ward 5 boundaries and you want to build, I don't care if you're on Lone Mountain Road or if you're on Fremont Street. The standard is high. Don't bring garbage. Don't come with a half-baked plan. You come with respect for this community, because we have suffered enough. But it is also time for us to move forward and say yes to something. So again, if you have any changes to this plan, you have to come back. These louvers are to give privacy to Ms. Freeman. The plants had better always be growing, always. The trees had better always be well maintained. You have management on staff that is going to ensure that your residents understand they're moving into a community. I don't care where they came from, or they may be children of people, or just moving. But this is to be respectful to the neighbors. Noise, kids, garbage, parking, all of it. Handle your business. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Are there any other comments from the City Council? Councilwoman Bruni.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. So the affordable housing, it's truly affordable housing. So are those units in perpetuity or for a 20-year period?
Chico Clark of Oikos Development, for the record. They will be, right now they are on I believe it's a 50-year plan, and after that we'll be working with NHC to get those recycled back into the affordable housing space.
Okay, and then what's the level? Is it 30% AMI to 120, or what are the levels at, please?
It is for families and individuals that are making 30 to 50% of the area median income, which makes the rents somewhere around $4,500 to a maximum of $1,100 for the most expensive 3-bedroom.
Okay, and I also want to echo my colleague. As we heard this morning, we have a deficit in sort of the missing middle housing stock and multifamily. So I want to thank you for your leadership in bringing this to our city, because it's greatly needed.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Any other questions? Mr. Lowenstein, could you go over the conditions with us one more time?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So the first would be an amendment to condition number 10 to reflect 24-inch box versus 15-gallon in that condition. The two added conditions would read as follows. Any substantial changes made to the development, including but not limited to building placement, building height, unit count, and/or building facade, shall require a major amendment to be heard at public hearing. The second condition reads, a waiver to allow a 6-foot solid wall within the front yard along western property line where the maximum height of fences and walls erected between the front property line and primary structure shall not exceed 5 feet, and the maximum height of solid fence or walls shall not exceed 2 feet, is hereby approved. If agreed upon with the adjacent property owner, the existing western perimeter wall shall be raised to 6 feet in height if structurally sound and permissible. If not applicable, and if agreed upon with the adjacent property owner, the existing wall shall be removed and a new 6-foot block wall shall be constructed within the front yard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And once more for the record, does the applicant agree to all the conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, we do agree with all of the conditions mentioned.
Thank you very much. In that case, may I have a motion, Councilwoman Summers Armstrong?
I have one more question. At this point, Mr. Lowenstein, would a DPMR be appropriate?
It is, however, it's already placed into the application, so I do not have to read that lengthy condition. It is currently condition number 3 in the staff report.
Thank you. All right. In that case, I move, Madam Mayor, for approval of this item.
Shall we vote?
With conditions.
Please post. Motion is passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number, good luck. Agenda item number 46, 24-0674-SUP1, special use permit, applicant Amel LLC owner, FAEC Holdings Wirula LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 2,849 square foot alcohol on-premise full use at 450 Fremont Street, Suite 135, C2, General Commercial Zone, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing that I now declare open. Is the applicant present?
We are here, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, council members. I'm here, Nathan.
Can you state your name for the record?
Lisa Mayo, 2431 Tour Edition Drive. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. Mr. Amir is here. This is opening a Hush Puppy restaurant on Fremont Street. We need a special use permit for that. Mr. Amir purchased the 50-year-old Hush Puppy that we all know of over on Charleston in 2023, and now he is bringing to Fremont Street the great food and tradition of the Hush Puppy, and staff has approved this, and the Planning Commission approved this. This is in Ward 5, Summer Armstrong's district, and if you have any questions, Mr. Amir is here, and we would certainly enjoy your approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I have a staff report?
Thank you, Mayor Seth Foley, for the record. Mayor, the proposed alcohol land use can be conducted in a manner that is harmonious and compatible with the existing surrounding land uses. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested special use permit, subject to conditions.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone wishing to be heard? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Are there any conditions that the applicant has to agree to? Mr. Floyd, are there any issues, are there any conditions?
There are no additional conditions, Mayor.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about Hush Puppies?
Yeah, my name is Magdi Ammer. I'm a proud owner of the oldest restaurant in Las Vegas, the Hush Puppy, which I purchased 2023. And it is a tradition of Las Vegas, I guess, with the Hush Puppy and the catfish and all the good products. So I was invited to come downtown and Fremont Street to open a Hush Puppy there, to be a part of the legacy of Fremont Street. So I'm here to thank you all, and
well, don't thank us yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any questions or comments from city council members? Are there, is there a motion, City Councilwoman Summers Armstrong?
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Mayor, I move to approve this application.
right, thank you. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion passes, and best of luck in your new location.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 47, 25-0090-E. OT1, first extension of time, non-conforming applicant, 777 Gaming and Spirits, owner, S&G Shopping Center LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a non-conforming liquor establishment tavern use at 2333 North Jones Boulevard, Suite 108, C1, Limited Commercial Zone, Ward 5. Ms. Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends approval. This is a public hearing that I now declare open. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Could you tell us something about your project?
Yes, my name is Brandon Hamika. I'm the owner of 777 Gaming. I purchased the tavern last year in March and got approved for gaming through Nevada State Gaming Control Board, and have remodeled the space and looking to get an extension of time.
All right, thank you so much. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. Mayor, staff finds that the applicant has demonstrated hardship and that additional time is necessary to obtain the required permits and licenses to reopen under a new operator. The previous uses on the site can be conducted in a manner that is compatible with the adjacent uses, and staff therefore recommends approval of the extension of time with a one-year time limit in accordance with Title 1914. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any conditions?
There are no additional conditions, Mayor.
All right. Any questions or comments from the council? Is there a motion, Councilwoman Summers Armstrong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move for approval of the request for an extension of time.
All right. Shall we vote? Please post. Motion passes. Thank you
your
for
time.
coming in.
Thank you.
Agenda item 48 has already been heard. Agenda item 49, report from Audrea Hooper, Executive Director, and of course, and Patrick Riley, Board Chairman, Downtown Vegas Alliance, regarding the organization's activities and achievements throughout 2024 and their goals for 2025. This affects all wards. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Babsky.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, City Council members, Dina Babsky, Director of Economic and Urban Development for the city, and I'd like to welcome our guests and great partners. So with us here today are the board members, with the chair being Pat O'Reilly. We also have Mr. Joe Woody and also Lisa Robinson. And of course, we have the irreplaceable Ms. Audrea Hooper, who is the Executive Director for the Downtown Vegas Alliance. Just for a little background, we have been partnering with the organization for the last 10 years. We're currently in our second year of a 3-year memorandum of understanding where the RDA, or the city, is partnering with the organization in the amount of $25,000 to continue the work that they do so efficiently and effectively to support our small businesses and large businesses in the downtown area. As part of their deliverables in the Memorandum of Understanding, they deliver their annual report on the achievements and goals for the upcoming year, and so that is what they're here to do today. Welcome. Thank you. Madam Mayor, members of the council, thank you for entertaining us. Good afternoon. I'm the chair of the Downtown Vegas Alliance. This is my 4th year. This is actually the last presentation I'll be making to you. I'm term limited at the end of June. Someone will be here in my place next year. So I'd like to give the presentation to you for this year. If we get the next slide. Okay, so the purpose of the Downtown Vegas Alliance, as you would imagine, is to see the downtown Las Vegas area grow and thrive and have an even brighter future. We focus on making the place a better place for business to be conducted, a place to work, a place to live, and a place to visit. It's something, what's the line? We're down for downtown. Go ahead.
Our history is pretty well known. We've been around since 2009. We are a 501c6 nonprofit organization that was formed by business leaders in the downtown area to bring together stakeholders who are passionate about the community, and we have been in partnership with the City of Las Vegas for the last 10 years. The result has been a successful revitalization of the downtown Las Vegas area. I want to flag that word revitalization for later. Here's our board of directors, which includes myself, Bill Paredes of Bank of Nevada, Mr. Woody, who's the CFO of the El Cortez Hotel and Casino, Corey Fagan, the First Friday director, Dulcinea Rongavilla of Cragen and Pike. There's our executive director, Audria. And then our members at large include Jonathan Ullman of the Mob Museum, Andrew Simon of the Fremont Street Experience, Seth Shore of Fifth Street Gaming, Jonathan Alvarez of Protective Force International, Bisu Ledoux of Noble Studios, and Jeff Victor of Circa Resort and Casino. So two of the things we did in the last year, we held two Successes and Insights events with the City of Las Vegas. The one was in October 2024, which was a commitment to creatives in the Arts District. It was hosted at renowned events, and we had breakout discussions at neighboring businesses. It was a very well-attended event, lots of great energy. We talked about artist housing and the challenges there, possible creation of a business improvement district for the Arts District and the creative community in general. More recently, we had a technology and innovation Successes and Insights at the Innovation Center. It was very, very well attended. Showcased robotics. I think we have one of the robots there. No, not Tyler, the one next to him. And driving innovation, fueling exceptional growth. That was definitely a fun event. Lots of interesting stuff going on there. We also conducted the second cohort of our small business incubation program. We're very proud of that, in conjunction with the Urban Chamber of Commerce, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, and Prestamos. We hosted 26 businesses, primarily small businesses, minority-owned. They received coaching, connections to smaller and larger businesses, and received the necessary skills and tools to compete in today's environment. There was also a lending circle that was part of that cohort. And that was also due in large part to funding from the City of Las Vegas. Membership mixers, we try to do those once every month. They're fun, but they're not just fun. They're where businesses get to meet, talk about what's going on, share stories, share part of that business community. I've seen a number of you at those events. It's great to have you. You're always welcome to come. It's a great way for you to get your ear talked off by the local business owners. And here are some of the places we've had them at in the last year: Pizza Rock, Origin, 7th and Carson, the Mob Museum, and most recently Atomic Golf. We also handed out our second annual Rich Worthington Legacy Award, celebrating our now 16th anniversary, and the 2025 award winner was Kenny Epstein. And Mayor, you may recognize that photograph. That was...
Could you have found a better photograph?
No. It's a great photo, but that was Inauguration Day, so it was a special day, and we were very grateful that you were able to join us that day. All right, we always do news of note. If you don't get news of note, you should get news of note. Sign up for it, because weekly we provide news on downtown Las Vegas. We have an updated design, but you get informed of happenings every week, and it's one of the services we provide to the community. We also do, here are the numbers on social media engagement. I don't know much about social media. I do know that these are real numbers. We don't pay to boost the numbers up. These are really what people are doing: new followers, people who are sharing stories, and the like. Our plan for 2025 is to have 2 more Successes and Insights in accordance with our MOU, to conduct monthly member mixers and have members discussions, to have lunch with the mayor. We did that, actually, that photograph is from last week, where we had an excellent lunch, and to continue with news of note. I'd like to give you, I know it's late, we're into the lunch hour. I want to give you an anecdote. About 2 weeks ago, I attended a retirement party, Tammy Christensen of the city, and it was at Las Vegas Brewing Company, new business in the Arts District. As I left the party, I walked out the door. I saw a 374-unit apartment development by Southern Land across the street. I turned the corner. I passed a number of interesting businesses, shops, great restaurants, all within probably a football field length of walking, and it just kind of sunk into me how much downtown has really come alive. And not just in the Arts District, in Symphony Park, at Fremont East, at the Fremont Street Experience, in the Medical District, all sorts of other places. And that word I flagged before, revitalization, it's actually a misnomer. It's a vitalization. It's happening for the first time. It's happening before our very eyes in real time. And I'd love to take credit for it. We'd love to take credit for it. But really, I think it starts with the city. The city over the years has created an environment for, I'll call it an appetite for risk. And when small business owners and medium and even large business owners feel that there's an appetite for risk, they'll take that risk. And that's what's happening in downtown, and it's really encouraging, and I hope it continues, and I hope it continues to grow. And I wanted to thank the city for this great partnership. And if you have any questions, I'd love to
I
answer.
can assure you, we will take credit for it. Does anybody have any questions of our city council members? Yes.
I just want to comment and thank you all for being a really important partner to us, the city. You keep us engaged, you keep us informed. We've been through good times and not so great times called the pandemic, but we were there for each other, and that's what matters, that we come even bolder and stronger out of every challenge. And as we've faced challenges, we've just been there to reassure each other we're going to get through it, and better, more positive things will come. And I think we just need to continue to chart the course, and we're constantly as a city trying to make the best out of the city so that everybody wants to live here, work here, and play.
And
So
thank you very much. And I can tell you that we're all very proud to be part of this partnership, and grateful to be working with everyone here.
That's really great. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Are there any other questions from the city council members? In that case, this was a report only. No action is required. We're now going to move on to item 50, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Agenda item 50, set date on any appeals filed or required public hearings. I would instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous buildings or nuisance litter abatements.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 51, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the city council. No subject may be acted upon by the city council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Yes.
I hung around Lisa Mayo DeRiso because I couldn't miss the opportunity after your Gwyn presentation to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart that I'm really working on, which is tiny homes in our community. And we're calling them now tiny homes and small residential units, because they really do fill that gap of the middle when we talk about what's missing in the middle. Dallas Harris and the legislature passed SB 150, champions the tiny home legislation. Every municipality in our community, every county has zoning for ADUs, tiny homes, small residential neighborhoods. In the Gwyn report, they talked about the lack of labor and construction, the cost of materials, materials. And the only way to get past this is to shrink the size of the homes that people can afford and make them affordable. The tiny home is defined from 400 square feet to 1,000 square feet. When Senator Councilman Knudsen talked about seniors that don't want to be in a 1,500 square foot home or an 1,800 square foot home, a 700, 800, 900 square foot home is the perfect thing, and they're affordable. The other thing I'm working on, and we're working on with Vegas Tiny Homes, is to bring home manufacturing here. A home manufacturer that can manufacture homes, cutting the costs, cutting the time, cutting into all of those things that make homes not affordable in our community. There's over 80,000 infill parcels within the city of Las Vegas, or maybe it's Southern Nevada. And tiny homes, small residential units are the perfect thing to put into these areas. The thing that we at Vegas Tiny Homes really want to support is home ownership. Own a home. You can get into a $90,000, $200,000, $250,000 home that's affordable, and you can own it. So I thought that was really missing from the Gwynn study. They did mention ADUs briefly, but I think we really need to start to look to embrace this idea of manufactured housing and small residential units, because I really think it's an opportunity to allow people to own a home and get out of this generational cycle of renting and generate some generational wealth. So I just wanted to put that out there. We are having a tiny home, Vegas Tiny Home Trade Show, September 5th through 7th in downtown, where we're bringing thousands of people into downtown in order to have that, and we hope to see some of you there. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to address the council? And I failed to limit the amount, but since Lisa did 3 minutes, you're afforded 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will need 3 minutes. Just wanted to reiterate the excitement that we have for the West Side Flats coming online. I know Councilwoman Sandra Armstrong will hold their feet to the fire because this is such an important project. And also, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on number 50 with Downtown Vegas Alliance, as the historic West Side is encompassed now as Downtown North. I've gone to several of their events, even when Sean Douglas was in charge, and I'm just hoping that the West Side, Jackson Street, the things that we're trying to do as we are part of the downtown, that we are afforded those types of initiatives and that type of energy, working with Downtown Vegas Alliance or whomever, that we also see the revitalization that we want to see. And that's it.
And would you please state your name for the record?
I'm so sorry. My name is Deidre Edmond Drew, CEO of Jackson Street Alliance, property owner at 418 Jackson Avenue. Thank you.
And I suspect that your councilwoman for that area will be all over this and making sure that it happens.
Absolutely. And Miss Ruby Duncan says hello.
Love her. Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak? And you have 3 minutes since you've been so patient.
Anyway, I'll make this quick. I'm here to tell you that I can make water from scratch, pure water, that could be from like a house all the way up to Lake Mead to the world. And also, if you look at the Aswan Dam in Egypt, they have 560 million gallons of storage a day.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we need your name as well,
Yes,
too.
I'm sorry, I didn't. May we have your names for the
Oh,
record?
yeah, sure. Joel Epstein. Okay. And so what I'd like to request, with your permission, I'd like to speak with you or any of your members at a later time to go into some detail how this works. Like, it's only 2.5 cents a gallon, and you can make pure water that has no chemicals in it, that has no chromium in it, that has no any of the other things that we have in our water. So basically, it's coming from the air, and then it's processed in a very, I think it's a little complex, so I'd rather take that time to discuss with you or any other people that you'd like, and we could call you and make an appointment.
Mr. Epstein, I'm sure if you call any one of the council people, we'd all be delighted to speak with you. But may I also suggest that you contact the Southern Nevada Water Authority? That might be the more appropriate place to make a presentation.
We have done that, and because the invention has no incoming money, doesn't qualify for anything they have. It has to be, I mean, ours is an innovation, and of course, it's not a business yet, but it's an innovation.
All right, thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
People really overlooking that one.
Would you mind stating your name for the record?
I'm Jenna Epstein. And we have talked various people, and then a few scientists, people already approved that. It's a pre-patent already. And we really needed support, but you know, people don't understand what's going on. They don't pay attention. So we need to talk to some few scientific people or engineer together that make them understand, because he doesn't let this information out to everybody. He's afraid that somebody's gonna steal it, I should say, you know. So if you help us and call us back, can we give you a phone number?
I suggest that you call the city council or the mayor's office.
Okay. We have that from the people.
Yeah, okay. I
Thank
thank
you,
you
ma'am.
so much for coming in, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Our pleasure.
Appreciate it.
All right. Does anybody else wish to speak?
The Desert Research Institute, you could also tell them to reach out to the...
Again, hello, City Council, lovely mayor.
And would you state your name again for the record?
My name is Eric Melchizedek Christ Nimrod.
And
you can
you will
find
have 3
King
minutes to
Nimrod in
speak.
Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th to the 10th verse, and scholars and preachers slander him. Anyhow, the last time I came here on April the 2nd, there was a person died at the filthy courtyards, filthy sleeping area the next morning on April the 3rd. Person died in the sleeping area in the courtyard because it's filthy and it needs to be cleaned, and they don't clean it. Urine, all kind of stuff is on the mat area. They ought to be sued, actually. Anyway, at the last council meeting agenda, at the last council meeting, Agenda 39, Dr. Celeste Rayford of Region 2, Superintendent of the Clark County School District, gave a report that said, among other things, that 232 students were expelled, and the majority of them were so-called black. I said they had a spiritual problem. By that I mean they are falsely taught in church and in their homes that Father God is white, and that they are taught that they are cursed to be the lowest of slaves to the white man and the Jew in Genesis 9:25. They actually taught this. I have personally proven it to be a lie. And it promotes inferiority, low self-esteem, and behavior problems. Black youth are also taught that Nimrod, the king, the son of Cush, the scholars lie and say that he's a rebel against God. In Genesis 10, the 6th to the 10th verse, that also is a racist lie. If white and Jewish youth were taught these lies about themselves in the book that they worship, they would be expelled too in very large numbers. The problem, I repeat, is a spiritual problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to address the city council? In that case, we'll move to agenda item 52, council emerging issues, discussion regarding potential items for future city council agendas, all wards. Any discussion must be limited to whether or not such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda, and no discussion regarding the substance of any proposed topic shall occur. No action shall be taken. Do any members of the council have any topics that they would like to bring forward under this item? Okay, thank you so much. We will now move to agenda item 53, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. Shall we start with Ms. Bruni, and we'll work our way across.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to wish everyone a happy season of renewal, whether you're celebrating Passover or Easter. With the good spring weather here, Ward 6 has been busy. We kicked off the month by partnering with Get Outdoors Nevada to clean up our Centennial Hills Park and our natural habitat preserve. We had over 70 volunteers come out, and together we picked up over 500 pounds of trash. Last week, we met with engaged neighbors at our monthly Bocaditos with Bruni. Thanks to everyone who came out to share your thoughts and meet your neighbors. This past Saturday, I was able to take a few hours off and enjoy the annual Bluegrass Festival hosted at our beautiful Centennial Hills Park Amphitheater. It was great to join over 5,000 neighbors out there enjoying the music, food trucks, and vendors. On Saturday morning, I participated with the city team in the Corporate Challenge 5K at Kellogg-Zaylor Park. Team Bruni is gearing up for a busy few weeks. This Saturday, we are hosting our annual Spring Fling at Floydland Park, which will include a classic car show and pet parade. We have over 80 vendors signed up, so come out and support our small businesses. Next Wednesday, April 23rd, we are hosting our quarterly small business breakfast at the Centennial Hills Active Adult Center starting at 8:30. We'll have several speakers there from the Small Business Development Corporation. Please RSVP so we can make sure we have enough breakfast for you. Next Friday, April 25th, from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., we'll be taking advantage of our neighbors' love of our dark skies and hosting a Night Among the Stars walk. The Las Vegas Astronomical Society will be joining us to lead a magical stargazing expedition. On May 3rd, we will be hosting a superhero 5K run out at Floydland Park in partnership with the Centennial Hills Kiwanis Club. We'll be starting at 8 a.m. All proceeds from the entry fee will be going towards scholarships for graduating high school students. On May 3rd, later that day from 9 to 11, we'll be partnering with Get Outdoors Nevada once again to clean up Teton Trails Park. Please join us. On Thursday, May 8th, we are partnering with Councilwoman Summers Armstrong and Commissioner McCurdy to offer a special Mother's Day lunch at Floydland Park starting at 11 a.m. The theme is big hats, floral dresses, sneakers, and pearls. So dress up, and guys, please wear your bow ties and sneakers. Men are invited. On Friday, May 9th, we're hosting Jazz Underneath the Stars, a concert in partnership with Jazz Outreach Initiative and the Jazz Vegas Orchestra. The concert is free. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. and offering an experience with charcuterie boxes and libations for purchase. As always, we want to hear from you. Please reach out to us at 702-229-5463 or email us at ward6@lasvegasnevada.gov. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Seaman.
Thank you. I attended the Nevada Bio Annual Awards Dinner at the Durango Hotel, and Dr. Jack Jacobs was honored as Man of the Year for his groundbreaking contributions to Parkinson's disease research. I also attended Club Christ's second annual gala, Branching Out, Building What Matters at the Vision of Greatness Center, where Assistant Sheriff Haas was the keynote, and he was so inspiring, highlighting the strong and impactful partnership between Club Christ and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in supporting youth and families in underserved communities. Our Breakfast Buzz and Ward 2 Biz was great since we had our Animal Protection Services, which gave an insightful presentation. And Sergeant Belcher, he introduced Scarlett to the crowd, our fantastic police K-9. We're also thankful to the LVMPD Homicide Sergeant Kennedy for sharing valuable information, and a special shout out always to Captain Greg Finnis of the Summerlin Area Command for answering all our public safety questions and keeping everyone informed. It was great to attend the 3rd annual Beneath the Neon Gala, where I presented a proclamation from the City of Las Vegas to Shine a Light Foundation on behalf of all the great work they're doing under the leadership of Paul Vatrinot. I just have a problem saying that name. This incredible organization has shown unwavering dedication to serving our homeless population with compassion, vital resources, and life-saving support. This is the group that goes out into the tunnels and brings resources to those and try to get them into recovery. I've gone out with them. They're just amazing. The foundation's mission is transforming lives, and the power energy in the room is a testament to its profound impact on our community. Our upcoming events, we'd like to invite everyone to join us on a human trafficking awareness event that I am co-sponsoring. It's not actually my event, where they're going to be showing a powerful film and engage in meaningful discussion. And then we have our upcoming Easter egg hunt in partnership with Juvenile Justice Impact. And then we again have our Ward 2 Breakfast Buzz, which gives everyone a chance to meet fellow residents and discuss community matters. Mark your calendars for our annual Memorial Day ceremony at the Lakes, a heartfelt tribute to honor those who have served. I want to wish everyone, we're in the middle of Passover and also a happy Easter coming up, wishing all your loved ones a joyful and peaceful Easter. And we have our regular Adopt a Pet, which we have Hans, a Terrier American Pit Bull Beagle mix. Oh, he's adorable. Weighs about 60 pounds. He's 3 years and 6 months. He doesn't look 60 pounds, so don't be deceived. Then we have Severus Snap, a domestic short-haired male, 16.4 pounds. That is a hefty cat, aged 2 years and 1 month. If you would like to adopt, you can go to the Nevada SPCA, the Animal Foundation. There are rescues all over this city. You know, don't discard your animals. There are plenty of people who will adopt them. Next slide, please. If you would like to get your word out about your Ward 2 business, you can contact my office at 702-229-2420. Every week on Saturday, we feature a small business and try to get the word out about what you do. And next slide, please. If you have any issues in Ward 2, you can just contact my office at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov or phone 702-229-2420, and we will help you with whatever issue it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It most certainly takes a village to make a huge impact on our community. So I get to share that once again on Saturday, April 5th, we were at our Safe Village cleanup. Ward 3 joined forces with Downtown Area Command officers, Casa de Luz, children, volunteers, and parents, and our Department of Neighborhood Services. Again, we're making sure that all of our communities make sure that they have a sense of pride of where they live, and it's spotless as much as we can have a hold in that. And so 318 pounds of trash were collected, and volunteers that participated were also adjacent business owners like Oasis Cannabis Dispensary, the Raiders Foundations, and many countless property owners. So I just want to thank everyone's support, because we all collectively can make a difference and make Ward 3 more safe and beautiful. On Thursday, April 10th, Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada had its Advocacy and Justice Complex groundbreaking, and some colleagues of mine, Councilman Polensky, Councilman Knudsen, the mayor, myself, we had an amazing time attending and celebrating this very different groundbreaking ceremony. I've never seen a groundbreaking with no shovels and no dirt, but we did it the legal aid way, but it's so refreshing to know that I think by the summer of 26, we might be receiving an invitation for a ribbon cutting of an amazing asset to our community. So excited about that development moving forward. Yes, yesterday, Tuesday, April 15th, we had Coffee with a Cop, and I want to thank our Downtown Area Command officers and our City Marshal's POP team for being available to our businesses and residents for coffee and conversation at Iwana Coffee in the Arts District. If you haven't been there, you are in for a treat. They roast their own coffee and offer tasty options for your tummy. A big thanks to Alex and Carol Rodriguez, who are the Iwana Coffee Shop owners, for being wonderful hosts. And I want to give a special shout out to Denise Stride, who is our crime prevention specialist at Downtown Area Command, and she sadly informed me that she'll be retiring in May after 20 years at Downtown Area Command. So I think she will deserve a little special tribute as we bid her much success in the next chapter of her life. Just reminding everyone, the LVCEA, Las Vegas City Employees Association, is hosting a shredding event on April 25th. Whew, I made my tax filing on time. I hope you guys did too. And I'm gathering my documents to take to them for shredding on Friday, April 25th from 9 a.m. to noon. So head on over. They said they don't have a limit on boxes. They will take as many boxes as come through, and they want to set a record. So take advantage. 857 Northeastern in fabulous Ward 3. Also want to invite you all to attend Earth Day cleanup efforts. We're going to be at the Las Vegas Wash in Ward 3, and we just want to invite as many of you as possible on Saturday, April 26th, 9 to 11, and the meeting point is Doug Selby Park, a former city manager of the city of Las Vegas. That's what that park is named after, who that park is named after. So 1293 North Sand Hill Road, 9 to 11 on April 26th. Please share the word, and I hope to see you all there. We're doing that in partnership with our marshals, Metro, and Telemundo. The 26th is going to be a very busy day for me. Aside from the cleanup earlier in the day, we're also inviting folks to come to the 5th annual Las Vegas Mexica New Year on April 26th. It's a free event with art, music, food, dance, jewelry, and children activities, crafts, and so much more from 2 to 6 p.m. at Gary Reese Freedom Park, 3051 East Washington Avenue. I hope you guys can come out and partake in the offerings. And at the end of the day, we will have movie night at Freedom Park. We're showing Moana 2 at 6 p.m. or upon sundown. And we'll have popcorn and some refreshments available to attendees. So again, hope to see you all with everything that's going on in Ward 3 on April 26th. And that's it from me, Madam Mayor. I hope that people continue to reach out to Ward 3 at 702-229-2359 or email us at ward3@lasvegasnevada.gov.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Polensky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My first slide will highlight a victory in the Next Level Sports Recreation Flag Football League 4th grade edition. The Trojans won. They were underdogs. The team includes 2 Helbert boys, 1 Floyd boy, and 1 Polensky. They were definitely the underdogs to an undefeated future Bishop Gorman football players team. And Judith Siegel, if you're out there listening, we'll see your son in next year's championship for the 5th grade. Next up, on Friday, I had the opportunity to tour the beautiful Rita Deanan Abbey Art Museum. Rita was a tremendous local artist who passed away in 2021. I encourage everyone to visit the gallery located at 5850 North Park Street, which is just barely in the county island of Ward 4. She has an extensive body of work that is so impressive. You all need to see it. Friday evening, I was honored to be guest speaker at the Sun City Summerlin Gun Club. It was great to connect with residents and share information about all the exciting events and projects cooking in Ward 4. And my Councilwoman Diaz did a good job talking about the Justice and Advocacy Center, so we'll pass on that. Yesterday, the mayor and Councilwoman Diaz and I attended a Tip-A-Cop event at Weiratai, hosted by the Asian American Pacific Islander Alliance. I'm always happy to give my support to our local law enforcement community, and the food was amazing as well. On Tuesday, April 22nd, our Green Planet is hosting a giant student farmers market at 1980 Festival Plaza Drive at 9:30 a.m. to 12:30. All the proceeds are reinvested into school gardens, so come out and support the kids and buy some tasty fruits and veggies. Join me Friday, April 24th for a movie in the park. We'll be viewing The Secret Life of Pets 2 at Triangle Hills Park. We'll be having snow cones, popcorns, pet-themed activities, and food trucks for purchase. The fun starts at 6 p.m. Bring your low-back chairs and blankets for this free family fun event. And don't forget to bring your pets to join in our pet parade. Do you have any information regarding any of the 12 missing kids featured on this slide? If so, please call Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Missing Persons Detail at 702-828-3111. According to Nevada Child Seekers, more than 8,000 children go missing every year in Nevada alone. That's 20 children a day. Over the last 7 years, the Big Search team through Nevada Child Seekers has found and relocated more than 150 kids and reunited them with their families. At-risk youth or runaways, please call or visit the nationwide runaway hotline at 800-786-2929. And lastly, please stay connected with us on social media platforms or contact us directly the old-fashioned way at 702-229-2524. We're always here to provide any assistance that we can. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And providing cleanup, Ms. Summers Armstrong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a few past events to discuss. We had a Praise in the Park on Saturday, April the 5th. We had, it was a joint event collaborative with the City of Las Vegas, Arrington, and the Facebook Corral and the West Las Vegas Arts Center. It was a beautiful day. It was well attended, and I'm excited that this happened in our neighborhood. The snacks were on fire. Mr. Jeremy was there with peach cobbler in a jar, sweet potato cheesecake. Yeah, it was a ruination of any diet. We were loved. It was wonderful, and we hope that those folks who attended enjoyed themselves. On Saturday, the 12th of April, we had a cleanup in the Desert Meadows neighborhood. Right there on Lirio Way, we met with some staff and volunteers, and I'm there with a very ugly hat, as well as my assistant, Julius, and we put in yards, helping the neighbors there to pick up and just add a little bit of sunshine and clean up into their neighborhood. It was lovely, it was a good day, and we're glad to be of service in our community. Also, on the 12th was Easter in the 106. We had folks from the Bolden Area Command. We had hosted this event, and our team was there along with some folks with our community outreach, and it was wonderful. They had the blow-up Easter Bunny. The kids were having a blast. The police had a DJ, and they would try to pause to get the kids to slow down, and they were running to get those Easter eggs so fast. The golden Easter eggs were the hit, but it was wonderful. Just to see our neighbors, we had a chance to talk to people who were sitting on their stoop in the neighborhood and just build relationship. And so thank you so much, LVMPD and Bolden Area Command, for hosting this event. We have an upcoming event this Saturday, the 19th, is the Historic West Side Legacy Park 2025 inductee ceremony. Will begin at 8:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. at 1600 Mount Moriah Drive. Please get there early to get a seat. It's going to be a beautiful and moving event as we induct 5 new folks into Legacy Park. These are really folks that have had a profound effect on the history of historic West Las Vegas, and we are truly honored to be able to honor them. On April the 26th, we have the Caribbean Heritage Festival at the Sammy Davis Jr. Plaza at 770 Twin Lakes Drive. It's going to be a blast. I'm sure the music will be rocking. So if you're into reggae music or just want to enjoy some Caribbean flavor, we hope that you will attend. Low back chairs only, please, and be prepared to purchase some wonderful, flavorful food and beverages. It's also on the 26th is Earth Day Arbor Day. In collaboration with Get Outdoors Nevada, we will be at Children's Memorial Park at 6601 West Gowan Road. We will be planting trees, there will be face painting, a bounce house, and if you are a vendor and would like to participate, it is free. Please click on the QR code to figure out how to sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please wear comfortable clothing and a hat. It'll probably be warm, but we want to really have a wonderful impact on Children's Memorial Park on the 26th. And finally, just want to remind folks that my staff and I are available at 702-229-5443. Please reach out to us if you have any community concerns. We are here to be of service to our community, and we want to wish everyone a happy Passover and a wonderful Easter weekend. Be safe and enjoy your families.
Oh, thank you so much. The City Council will be holding a special meeting this Monday at 12:30. It has been noticed, just for everybody's information. And now, the City Council meeting of April 16th is adjourned.